Everyone, and welcome to the grand finals of this land for the crown. Coming at you from San Francisco here, we have the Bozo Bunch versus the Soondubu Strikers. A grudge match, a revenge match. It's gonna be bloody, it's gonna be fun. What do you have to say about this one, Borg?
You know, it's been a long LAN. A lot of interesting upsets, fun games, and we got two new teams in the grand finals here. Bozo Bunch versus Sundubu Strikers. Both these teams have been hunting for this S-tier win for about over a year now, for a long time, and it has just been eluding them. Sundubu, especially, I think, probably the crowd favorite here in the West Coast, but Bozo Bunch, you know, has had a lot to say for. They already beat them earlier in the winners finals, and they also have the reset to kind of hang back on. So Sundubu's got a mountain to climb here as we're getting into this game on Oni Village.
A mountain indeed, especially with the start, though. They are coming out blazing. Grimella almost scoring the goal there, but this defense from the Bozo Bunch has been so good all day long. We're going to go around for another loop around Oni Village. It's basically NASCAR over here. Another left turn. But Grimella winning the strike where in the end the defense goes through all the way to Shapeshifting, who gets dash punched, but not going to fall just yet. The Now Arrow keeps it forward. Obscure Bread's going to get hit by the Crystal Thorns there. The core just keeps on moving a little bit forward. There we go. Finally, the piercing shot gets it through. And Obscure Breads unfortunately gets caught by the Estelle Classic there, stunning up the goalie. 1 point. The first step on the climb up the mountain.
First step, but a necessary one. Soondubu, I believe they lost this map, right? Their classic Soondubu Village, as we like to call it over here. They lost the map against Bozo Bunch. And they have a little bit of a chip on their shoulder. They're trying to get their revenge, especially on this map. Start the reverse sweep, start the... for them, what would be an incredibly long series, and for us as well. So buckle up, everybody, because we have an absolute banger. One thing to note here is the Awakening starts here. It is going to be Missile Prop onto Obscure Bread's Eye, Grimella, and Shapeshifting with Breezy Breezy and Dropletto, the Brawlers, going that prize fighter. Not going to matter too much, at least early on in this Oni Village game. Not too much KOing going on, but as I say that, there is a power play going on right now for the Soondubus, and they do take advantage of it, rather, and get both the barriers from Bozo Bunch.
Yeah, it was First Blood going over the Soondubu Strikers there. 3Z catching Dropletto out really nicely and gonna almost find the goal. Great defense from Breads, passing it down over to Gret, who gets the clear in the end. Pass from Grimella over to 3Z up the top, down to the bottom, but Gret is on top of things with the broad as well. Core flip used up. There goes the bottom piercing shot to secure. 2 goals up, and I mean, Soondubu may have just been playing for the bracket reset angle here. They are looking phenomenal when earlier, it was very close. Every single set was basically 5th point, but now it is a 2-0, and I don't want to jinx them too hard, but Soondubu doing a whole lot better than earlier.
Soondubu definitely starting off strong here, going into this Oni Village first map here. And I think the really kind of real reason for it is Estelle definitely feels a lot better, especially with the Missile Prop, going into the beginning of a game compared to the Kai. The Kai kind of needs to scale a little bit unless you already have the speed, but no speed yet for the Kai. So I'm going to have to find his footing a bit in this game, or else Shapeshifting is just kind of going to run circles around him, and Grimella is going to have all the space in the world to find those Crystal Thorns, to find those piercing shots with Breezy Breezy at the helm as well. So we'll see if Bozo Bunch can kind of work their way back into the set, but right now it seems like Soondubu is pretty comfortably in the lead.
Yeah, very comfortably with that 2-0. Rosewarp comes down, almost secured. Piercing shot will give up their life. Grimella dies to get the barrier. Core flip used as well for that. Dropletto finally back up to 1 stacks on the stacks and stacks there. Or sorry, not the stacks and stacks, the prize fighter stacks. 3Z Breezy keeping in the corner, buying out time in this power play. Grimella back on the field, and Snare Drums also gets it forward. Crystal Thorns, piercing shot! And Grimella takes the goal. 1 set, 3-0 sweep. And I believe that might be the only sweep on Oni Village in this matchup, because every other one was at least a 3-1, I believe, earlier.
Yeah, I mean, pretty good start. They're riding that high from beating EKC, and maybe the losers run has kind of taught Soondubu a couple lessons. They learned a couple more things about themselves. This LAN has definitely been a growing period for a lot of teams, as we could see here, and Grimella feeling real nice, getting the stacks on stacks, get those carbs in, get those pancakes in, because you're going to be loving that pick right here. Another couple options here. Chrono Boost on the Kai, going to be giving him that speed that I talked about before. Super, super nice for the Kai early on. And then next, the Spark on the Now. Keep an eye on that. That was going to matter a lot later. Right now, not going to be too much. I believe the set is pretty much going to be the same, other than I might have a couple more plays with that speed, and then Grimella and Shapeshifting are just stalwart as always with that speed, the stacks on stacks, and then the prime time as well on Shapeshifting. It's going to be so hard to score on this guy.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be hard to score on anyone in this one. We've seen it before. So difficult to actually get through these goalies, especially with those midfields in front of them, making sure that when you get there, you are exhausted. But two bears go down. Classic diagonal Oni Village set up here. Strike shot whiffs from Obscure Breads, unfortunately. That's going to give the opportunity here for the DUBU Strikers to get up. And there, the barrier goes down. Help Grimella and 3Z both helping each other there. Strike shot to the bottom corner there. Pass from I to Drop Leto. Drop Leto trying to hold the position. Well, Barrage goes to the corner, but in the end, Grimella teleports in. Crystal Thorns out. Dribbles along the bottom. Piercing shot gonna miss. Gonna go for another cycle here. Drop Leto has the core in the corner, but Shapeshifting gets it out with the strike shot as well. Arrow keeps it forward, though. Secondary into the flurry from the Juliet there. Piercing shot gets it through both of them. Two people in the core. You'll love to see that on Estelle, but it's not enough just yet. The primary almost taking Gret off the map. The core flip out of Shapeshifting gets it forward, but again, they just run out of steam by the time they get there. The piercing shot, Crystal Thorns both whip. The core flip out of Drop Leto up to the top. It's kind of desperation, though, as we go into overtime, and Shapeshifting is the one to pick up that goal for the Soondubu Strikers.
Yeah, quick little flip from Shapeshifting, noticing that, you know, you have a space on that top side. You might as well send it over there. It's nice and safe, and Breads, you know, doesn't even matter if they can get there on time or not. They decided to keep the flip for next point since they did not think they could get there in time. But getting up early on to this next point here, I think kind of the game plan for Bozo Bunch, you know, is pretty similar to the same as Sundubu. They both kind of have a game plan. The difference being is that Bozo Bunch are more trying to funnel it into their Julie, whereas 3Z Breezy kind of, they're getting the core to him, but he's really just baiting cooldowns for Grimella to actually get the goal, which is what we've been kind of seeing, you know, all but last point. The entire first set was just Grimella. All three piercing shots were the ones getting the goals, not actually the brawler in 3Z Breezy. So we'll see if Drop Leto can kind of start imitating that a little bit, but I would say it's definitely going to be a little bit harder for him, at least at the start of this game.
Yeah, you know, for another cycle round, but speaking of hard things in general, it is now an open barrier for the Sundubu Strikers against that Kai and the Julie, who sends it through. And first goal in this game, in the match here for the Bozo Bunch. Drop Leto celebrating with the classic running along the edge of Oni Village. Love that little visual bug there. I'm glad they kept it in. Rosewar piercing shot stun up the goalie. Piercing shot didn't connect the core, but the barrier goes down either way. So really, it just worked perfectly fine. 3Z Breezy, though, missing barrier beam, unfortunately.
Yeah, barrier beam, not quite getting there, but at the same time, both bottom barriers going down. Top barriers going to be the goal for both teams coming in to this third point here on the second set. Drop Leto missing that dash punch. You know, that's definitely a kind of a wrinkle that we haven't really talked about too, is the KO. If Drop Leto can find some of this explosive Julianess, right, can find some of these KOs, same thing with Asher as well. If you can, these brawlers can really get involved. They have the prize fighter. It's going to be giving them more power. It's going to be making it way easier for them to actually start chipping down the midfielders, chipping down these goalies, right, making it much harder for them to play. And right now, it's really hard for Obscure Breads to play as 3Z is in his face, but the goal is not going to come by just yet. They managed to clear it for now, and Soondubu still on the offense are looking to take this point.
Yeah, pass over from Shapeshifting to Grimella. They're trying to get it back over. They had a lot of great aggression earlier with the core flips, but piercing shot barrier beam not going to connect. That's a lot of improvement. But core flip down from the bottom, steals it away and gets it down past I, past Breads, past even 3Z. Grimella, again, you were talking about it earlier. Estelle is kind of the star of these goals. 3Z Breezy is there to be a giant wall that is really more annoying than anything else. You use all the abilities to try and get around the Asher. When you finally do that, when you are exhausted, there's an Estelle just laughing at you. But now Arrow, really nice dash punch as well. Bozo Bunch catching these DUBU Strikers completely off guard there and taking both their barriers in rapid succession. Snare Drums well keeps it forward, though. The dash, the primary, finally have to get one barrier. That's only the first one. Drop Leto has the core proposal, going to send it down the bottom, but secondary from Mako is enough to protect this. Crystal Thorns keeps it in this top corner. The DUBU Strikers are trying to get it forward. They're trying to keep it in this corner so they can set up the aggression with their cooldowns coming back offline, but exactly the same from the other side. The Bozo Bunch are trying to do the same to them, keeping it in this corner, but gets free. Strike shot sends it up to the other corner. Arrow, though, is going to miss. Piercing shot as well. Finally, the Rosewarp comes in, the barrier beam, but core flip forced out of Breads is going to save this for now. Crystal Thorns and the primary from the Mako, not enough to get it through. Piercing shot misses Drop Leto, unfortunately, but in the end, Snare Drum saves it. Unfortunately, it was a temporary save. Gret able to get down to the bottom, forcing Shapeshifting to make that mistake with the Ensnare Drums. It was almost a brilliant save, but there's only so much you can do there.
Yeah, finally, I actually, with the Kai coming in and getting a little bit of their, you know, toes wet in this game, right? Finding the speed, finding some of these barrage plays in the bottom corner to keep it in Shapeshifting's face. There's only so much a Mako can do once there's no secondary, there's no primary available, right? And I think the biggest difference in this comps, right, is that you have a lot less time to actually attack when you're playing on this Kai Julie. Is you have that dash punch and that's it. You have the barrage and that's it. Whereas this Asher can just keep the core in this corner for so long while he waits for the Estelle to actually get so much work done, right? So I think Soondubu definitely just have a way easier and simpler time with these comps. And that's something, by the way, I've been talking to Grimella this weekend, has been talking about playing these really simple comps, back to basics, right? Don't overthink the meta too much. Don't overthink these picks too much. Just pick things that make it easy to play, that have a lot of success rate. But that gets thrown into a wrench when Dropletto on the Julie finds that explosive play and gets the KO now. Bozo Bunch on a power play.
Yeah, power play stacking up the stacks as well on the prize fighter, now helping with proximity drones and arrows, but Estelle is back over. The power play kind of dissolves, not really getting too much out of it. Core going for another cycle, but back down to this other corner here. Gret running, great Giga from Gret! Dash punch gets it through 3-0, but not through shape-shifting. Go for another cycle here, but that is an open goal for the Soondubu Strikers. Rosewarp actually countered really nicely there by the Bozo Bunch. Piercing shot gets it forward. We are in overtime, so the cores are red all over the place. 3Z has the core flip, has the barrier beam. Gonna be forced to use the core flip, will take down the barrier, but that's not the goal just yet. And that is so many resources available here for that, for the Bozo Bunch as they're trying to kill 3Z still, at least pop the recovery drone, but that hasn't been popped all set long. Piercing shot goes over the top, pass splitter also goes wide, unfortunately, for 3Z. Dash goes nicely, but the strike shot is better. Gret with that core flip running up, trying to get something on, trying to get the positioning. Dropletto wins the strike war in the middle. Core flip countered by 3Z. Breezy there, and we're just going to go for another cycle here.
Another cycle coming in. These Oni Village speed gates putting in overtime right now as we are in the overtime. Core going monumentally fast as the Giga Blast almost snipes the corner here. Shapeshifting managed to save that for now. Flip coming in through to save the Dropletto dash punch. And now Crystal Thorns keeping Breads in check, but nothing crazy going on though. Now still has Flip, and Shapeshifting is pretty comfortable in his net right now. So everything is kind of relaxed between these two teams, at least for now, until Breezy wins a strike war and puts it in the bottom side. The Kai could not get there in time, and Breads was not in range for that flip. Soondubu now are up 2-0 in sets.
2-0. 2 steps along the mountain now, and looking like potentially a bracket reset angle here if things keep up at this rate. And I mean, that's an Among Titans there for the Estelle, potentially Glass Cannon, 1-2 punch, Twin Drive, Monumentalist Knife, you really want it, but there's so many good options here. Is going to be that Monumentalist Deny on that Estelle. It's the Among Titans going the way of now. I don't think it's a bad pickup. Of course, it kind of sucks on Estelle to pick up that Monumentalist. You don't use it, but I think it's pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, as a kind of a... It's more like Estelle doesn't really care about too much here, so I don't think Estelle minds denying Monumentalist. I don't think you need to deny Monu. I think if Estelle had like a Rapid Fire or Aerials or things that were good for Estelle, you'd pick that for sure, and I know Grimella would. But there wasn't too much that you really cared about there. So might as well just deny the Monu away, make the now not quite as annoying 4-3 to deal with, and then, you know, just kind of gives your team a little bit of an easier time at it. I'd say another thing to look at here for sure is actually the Among Titans for Obscure Breads. It's kind of a hit or a miss, right? The problem is you're a goalie, so Breezy on this giant Asher might just run all over you now that you're so smaller. But at the same time, your Julie is pretty big now and has a time to scale later on with certain size awakening. So will this bite, you know, Obscure Breads in the butt or not? We'll have to see.
Yeah, one of the other things, though, is, you know, with Gret playing such a solid midfield and being there to support, you did give up size, but you also gained size on your midfielder who's helping you out. So it kind of worked, and there we go, Dropletto using that extra size to get through Strike and almost get the goal, but great defense there. Shapeshifting gets down to Grimella, gets the clear, kind of a mirror of what we saw earlier from the Bozo Bunch. These goalie midfield pairs are just so on top of things. They know what each other wants to do. They're not getting each other's way for the most part. And getting the clears like that, even through the Kai barrage, which can be so tough sometimes. The Giga, though, from downtown. Gret finding the angle through everyone and just surprising Shapeshifting there.
Yeah, I mean, the Bozo Bunch explosiveness here. It's not really an explosive comp, but it's way more explosive than the comp on Soondubu Strikers, right? And we're finding some of these dash punches, these Giga Blasts. We're finding a lot of small victories for the Bozo Bunch here, but they can't quite get a set. So can they take this, start the reverse sweep now? It's looking like, you know, better time than ever. If there's any time, it's now, right? That's what I said in the EKC Sad Boys game, rather, excuse me. And it happened. So we'll see if Bozo Bunch can start up this comeback right now. And they're starting off with a great offense on to Shapeshifting here, but not much going to come from it. Both barriers still hold.
Yeah, and both brawlers as well on that all-important one prize fighter stack where you haven't lost anything, but you also haven't really gained anything by it. So they were very close to getting a kill here. Dropletto as well, falling very low, but not quite yet. The barrage entirely soaked up by 3Z. A little bit of a flurry from Dropletto there, but doesn't get a ton of damage on this Estelle, who's full HP. almost getting killed is Dropletto, but manages to evade at the last second there. Grimella picking up the goalie orb as well, getting back up to full HP. Dropletto as well getting a heal too. And so we're just going to keep going back and forth here for a little bit, but Dropletto is still just the one to keep an eye on. If he falls and gives 3Z that prize fighter stack, it'll make this set a lot harder for Bozo Bunch going forward.
Yeah, and Bozo Bunch actually really happy right now with how the map is laid out. If you can see right here, the dash punch on that bottom side, when there's both barriers on the same side, it actually favors the Julie team a lot more because it's a lot shorter of a distance to clear it to your Juliet that's waiting on the barrier on the opposite side, right? Whereas if it's opposite side barriers, it takes a lot more time for the core to get there, and it takes a lot more time for things to happen. But things are happening right now as Dropletto and I both find the KO onto Grimella, and now it's up to Shapeshifting and 3Z Breezy, who has the flip in the box right now, playing Asher. A little bit of double goalie going on. As the flip from the flip from the Kai, putting it in the bottom side. Great shot there away from 3Z Breezy, and Shapeshifting was just not there in time.
Yeah, unfortunate there, and 3Z and Shapeshifting actually lining up a little bit as well, kind of getting on the same level, which can make it a lot easier to get that Giga killing Estelle right off the bat. That missile prop coming in clutch that he picked up earlier. The Ensnare Drums trapping Dropletto near the edge of the map, trying to reset. That was prize fighter stacks, but a timely heal will mean that he's basically back up to full HP. The strike shot comes down from Obscure Breads. Barrage as well, but it's not enough to get this barrier. Piercing shot, not really lining up too much, but does get the core forward. Strike shot, really nice corner hit there, but sets up the dash punch for this Julie in the corner. Crystal Thorn's going to sort of slow down the game a little bit, and that means that bottom barrier is going to fall here for the Bozo Bunch. Arrow being avoided there by Grimella. 3Z trying to get it around this core flip now, but the core flip is, of course, a very strong ability there, so it will be saved for now. Red coring all over the place, though. Some good synergy there, making sure that the angles stay tight so you can keep up the speed. Really nice play there from the Soondubu Strikers, who get that second barrier. Dropletto very low as well. 3Z stunning up the goalie, and Gret there. They're trying to get it, but it's just not quite. The now heals Gret as well, so he's almost up to full. They get it back in the corner, though. Piercing shot takes Dropletto's HP bar almost to 0. But again, Dropletto has been so good at surviving this entire game. He is doing really well, and the core flip comes out. The counter flip as well. Not going to go into the goal, but will by a lot of time. The piercing shot comes out, and finally, Dropletto falls to this relentless pressure from the Soondubu Strikers, and that is a prize fighter stack going down. Pass splitter comes out as well. Asher, though, not getting the goal there, but the piercing shot from Grimella will indeed get that.
Yeah, the Estelle finishes the day here. That's kind of been the story of this entire match, right? Is how can we get the Estelle in that prime position to score? But we are seeing Bozo Bunch fight back a lot, even in that set that was pretty dominated by Soondubu Strikers. It feels like some of the awakenings of last draft kind of helps Bozo Bunch get a little bit more of that explosiveness. They're getting a little bit more of that damage. I think one thing we didn't talk about before is actually the specialized training on the Kai, right? And you have the missile prop as well. This Giga Blast is going across the map, and it is half-healthing people, right? And we've seen it here, a couple KOs just off of only the Giga Blast, and right now we're seeing actually a Barrage KO onto Grimella in their own net, so it is a power play for the Bozo Bunch. Soondubu need to defend, but they do have both flips to do so.
Yeah, both flips a very powerful set of tools there. The arrow from now going a little bit wide, a little bit too late. And a barrier actually goes down in the power play there. Unfortunate. Piercing shot, though, countered by a core flip. But that's going to be a kill flip from 3Z onto I there. A little bit too close to the edge, a little bit too confident in the survivability earlier. Passing back and forth. 3Z gets the recovery drone taken out, though. And that is not a happy place to be in because there is a very deadly map here. The core flip from Dropletto, actually really nice strike war win as well, means it goes forward, but again, not too much done. These teams, again, they're running out of steam right at the last second. The Giga Blast goes a little bit wide as well, not the perfect connection, hits the goalie and the core, but not in the way you want. Great dodge there from Gret, though, means that he will stay alive against the dash punch of 3Z. Crystal Thorns goes out, red coring in overtime, dash punch gets the barrier. We're almost through this, but not quite just yet. 3Z Breezy trying to get this kill onto Gret again after again, but that's so many cooldowns sunk into that.
So many cooldowns sunk in, and keep in mind 3Z Breezy does have 3 stacks on the prize fighter, so it's really, really easy for him to find these knockback KOs if they give it to him. So the Bozo Bunch need to be careful not to stand too close to the sides as the Bozo Bunch here trying to get an offense going, protecting their last barrier so they don't need to be too crazy. Soondubu is the one that is in the rush in overtime here, but they also are the ones I think that have the advantage with the Estelle going into overtime. Now, can the Bozo Bunch get a set back, or will Soondubu Strikers tie it up at 2-2? We're about to find out here.
They are looking to tie it up here, but again, they've got a mountain to climb even if they get this, so they really have to want to make this not even a tie. They really are trying to make this a complete sweep, but now's healing, undoing all of the things that 3Z was doing, but downtown Shapeshifting manages all the way to get the primary into the barrier. Trying to dribble is 3Z. The Giga as well is going to go wide, unfortunately. And Dropletto trying to get the dribble. It's interrupted time and time again. 3Z's dash not perfect. The arrow, the strike shot, everything is used. The barrier beam, the piercing shot, not enough. Pass up to Dropletto, dribble up the top, but it goes back. Strike warp by Grimella, not going to go in though. Proximity mine timely from Breads, not enough to get through. The clear is complete again and again and again. Strike shot forward, but 3Z Breezy intercepts the rebound there. Rose warp into strike, into arrow, into core flip, into proximity drone, into pass splitter here. The Crystal Thorns as well. They're trying to get the finally they get the piercing shot, gets it forward. 3Z Breezy gets the dash into strike. 1 point away from taking game 1 in what would have to be minimum 4 games for the Soondubu Strikers.
Long road ahead for Sundubu, but this is a good first step. But they still need 1 more point. And last point, that was a really, really strong showing for them. They had control pretty much the entire overtime almost, just keeping that core forward in Obscure Bread's face. And as soon as he ran out of abilities, the perfect piercing shot into that Asher dash, just putting it in the back of the net. But this is a great start against the Tooth. Both barriers going down for the Bozo Bunch, and that's just going to be it. The Soondubu Strikers clock in game 1, and they're going to start this long journey that we have to go with them ahead.
Long journey here indeed, but looking like it's going to be a bit of a hype one. If Oni Village was that hype and that close and that back and forth, then we're going to get to see a lot of other things up ahead. We have, you know, quite a few maps in store for you here, but it is going to be a whole lot, and they're going to have to redraft between the bracket reset if that happens. But this is also the DUBU's map. They chose to go on Oni Village. They had the plan. They love this Estelle Asher comp on it. I think they've been trying different goalies here. They had the Mako this time, which seemed to work really well for them. But next time we're going to the Bozo's territory, that night market. They might be trying to get the kills on that one, and that's going to be a bit of a brutal one if they can pull it off.
You know, the funny thing, though, about these two teams is, or at least my thoughts with them have always been that they're kind of just copies of each other in terms of the style they like to play. How they end up doing it is slightly different in terms of their play style, but they love picking the same type of characters. They all love picking Now. They all love picking Estelle, or actually Estelle less so, but Kai, speed characters with these bunker goalies, right? So similar play styles, which means that they kind of like the similar maps. So all 3 of those maps, Oni Village, Night Market, Taiko Temple, I'd say these teams are, at any given day, I would give them like 5 and 5, like 5 wins, 5 wins. Like these teams are as back and forth as you can get on these maps. So it is a night market for Bozo Bunch technically, but at the same time, it's also a really good map for Sundubu, as we've seen, because Sundubu actually, I'm pretty sure, lost to Bozo Bunch on this map literally in the winners finals. So definitely going to be an interesting one here. Night Market is a little bit different, though, on instead of Oni Village, as we do have a little bit more diversity. I don't know how diverse these teams are going to actually end up getting, but we could see some kill. We could see a little bit more explosiveness possibly come up. We could see some more, depending on the awakenings. I don't know, like maybe a Zentaro from 3Z. I know he loves that. Maybe a couple other things. As we're actually getting into draft right now, it's going to be a cast to last start with a reverb, so not very kill heavy there on the awakening start. And it's going to be a, of course, Now and Octavia ban. Get those characters out of here. Let's get a little bit less speed, a little bit more bunker, I guess, as we're coming into this first pick Asher for the Soondubu Strikers. I'm assuming probably just going to be an Asher forward.
Most likely, and that's actually one of the other things with that first pick Asher. You know, if these teams are super even on these maps, then actually picking the map becomes a bad thing, because your other team, you're giving them the side selection, so they get to do something like first pick that Asher if that's what they want.
Exactly.
I always find it a little weird that the top teams aren't really liking the Julie as much. Can you elaborate on that if you know anything about that?
It's always kind of been a hit or miss character. I think Asher is more of, I guess, a guarantee, because it's a lot more consistent of a character. You're not going to die as well. You actually have more knockback than a Juliet, by the way, which is crazy to me that they actually buff that for the Asher. She's much harder to kill. She can keep it in the corner, slow things down a lot more. It's a lot just more consistent of that type of playstyle brawler, whereas Juliet is more of the explosive counter side of that. Two sides of the same coin. Both you're trying to shove it in. Juliet is more explosive, finding those dash punch timings, finding those creative kind of uses for the ultimate and the strikes, whereas Asher's more kind of cut and dry. Get it to the corner, use your abilities, slowly push it in past the goalie, just straight up through the goalie most of the time. And actually, we're going to be seeing on the side of Bozo Bunch a lot of explosivity here. Amy and Estelle. I'm assuming it's going to be Estelle goalie here for Breads. And then the X. Oh, Dropletto X. So I'm excited to see this. Dropletto X on Night Market with that Cast Last or Reverb start. It's probably going to be Reverb pretty much all the way through here for everybody, except for maybe Rune, which Grimella, that's another wrinkle in here, that Rune is actually in this game as well. So a little bit of like a last patch classic kind of creation comp for the Soondubu Strikers here with that Rune Atlas Asher, but a little bit more of an explosive, damage-heavy kind of looking for a bit of, I guess, flair in their gameplay here on the night market here coming in from the Bozo Bunch, and they're going to need some flair if they want to bring this one back.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. You have to flare and get through Atlas, because you can do all these explosive things and do so much damage, but he presses one button, heals up his team, and if you don't have anything left, then that's kind of unfortunate for you. The other team's just going to run away because you used all your cooldowns. So, looking forward to seeing how this one goes, but also some of the Q demons coming out, Dropletto on that X. If you've ever solo queued and run into him on that, I think I had one unfortunate game where I ended up with him in there, and I did not have a good time there. So, props to him on this one. Going to be exciting to see it from the third perspective here, not being against that. But I would definitely be terrified if I was in Soondubu Strikers' shoes.
Well, we're loading in here on to Night Market. We'll find out the awakenings here very, very shortly, and it will be, let's take a look, reverb for literally everybody, and it's going to be 3 Breeze with the slick kicks, everybody else except for the goalies with those mag souls, and then strike shot on both obscure breads and shape shifting. So this is going to be a big tug of war match. Can the Bozo Bunch find their ability usage, find kind of these blink plays to get in the mix, or is the Soondubu Strikers, going to use these creations, deny the space, and get the goal that way? We'll have to see, but here we are starting on the night market.
Yeah, great denying of space, though, as you're talking about the astral projection, the cosmic expanse, really nice usage by shapeshifting, the anomalies as well from Grimilla there. Just good usage of abilities from the get-go here, from the Sundubu Strikers, just edging it out a little bit at a time, not super far ahead, not leaps and bounds, but just consistently, one ability at a time in these sets of interactions, but that's enough to win at this caliber. They're not making mistakes with that extra ability. They are using it to the fullest. But we see here the X Maximus even used, not getting a ton done, but a little bit of damage spread across can go a long way when you're on these teams. Cyber Swipe nearly catching out the 3Z, but again, this intervention from the Atlas, and actually it's going to be a lot of time bought there, and Rune just gets to take a free barrier because of all the abilities that were used. Glitch Pop as well, just going to keep 3Z a little bit warmed up here for this X, but the unfortunate Night Market bounce shapeshifting with, of course, the sad boys there happens to the best of us, as always. That signifies there, but also signifies some high spirits on these teams. They make mistakes, it happens, but you also make some crazy saves like that. Good stuff against these Corpus. You always got to be careful for that, and it's going to go into the corner, but the Bull Rush not going to connect.
Not going to connect, but the goal will. Grimilla with the pillar. Surprise, surprise. Obscure Breads was not ready for that one as it gets put in the overtime speed on the bottom side there. Obscure Breads had the flip, but, I mean, no one can really see that coming. Rune, definitely one of those characters that you never really know when a pillar will just show up in your face, and it's not the most fun to play against. Breads now using the flip right away to save that double barrier there, I believe that was. And one thing to be, I'm really curious about is actually Bozo Bunch are the ones getting kind of bullied down. I mean, maybe they just don't have the damage yet. It is all reverb, so it's hard kind of for them to get a lot of the damage. And the base damage on the Asher and the Rune are pretty high if you get a Banish with 2 pillars in. But I'm expecting them to scale a lot more. But if Bozo Bunch win this set, I think they're in a really, really good place to win. But right now, they're not in a really good place to defend as they're getting banished. They're getting KO'd. They're losing their last bear. 3Z Breezy has the flip, but it does get cleared for now. And the Bozo Bunch are a little bit safer now that Dropletto is up.
Yeah, and they're keeping these flips up on Grimilla and 3Z. They use them there, though, unfortunately, not getting too much with it. But in the end, it's just going to go around. This top corner is Breads' nemesis, his kryptonite on this one. It is so difficult sometimes to see that angle when it's bouncing off that diagonal there. You're not quite sure where it's going to go, and you're kind of prepping for the demon angle because a lot of people at this level hit that. But when it goes that sort of off, weird one, you're kind of positioned in the wrong place by positioning in the usual right place.
Yeah, I mean, yet again, this Rune tends to be a menace, and as I say it, caster truth there, caster prediction, the double banish into strike just hits it right through everybody onto the bottom side. Well done for Soondubu Strikers there, especially on Grimilla, for getting those plays, getting those I guess banishes, right, to find these 3 goals. That's exactly what happened last time too. The first set, Grimilla got all 3 goals. Grimilla gets all 3 goals here. Grimilla has come locked in and ready to play. And right now, getting denied too, as the extra special going away. But Rune with Castellass is definitely not going to be too upset. But this is what we've been waiting for here. The stinger now on the Amy, the extra special, and the might. This is all damage. This is all cooldown. This is all for kind of just killing the Soondubu Strikers. But can they get through a Stagger Swagger 3Z Breezy with an Atlas? We'll have to see. I don't think so.
it's going to be tough because you go on that Asher. Asher has that secondary defense on top of the Stagger Swagger now. You go on the Rune, he just banishes you, teleports away. He can do all kinds of fun stuff like that. So it's really hard to get a good target selection here. You maybe just have to go for the Atlas in his gold box when his ult is down. But even then, it's just so difficult. But in the end, one barrier does go down. Good aggression here by the Bozo Bunch. Clear is good, though. On the other side, Glitch Pop fails, but the Strike Shot does succeed. 3Z just barely living, dodging, and then the timely ultimate from the Atlas comes through to save the day. But the Atlas ultimate is down. 3Z Breeze is very low, taking 2 barriers, and the goal saves himself by getting that goal there. No more kill pressure when the point has been ended. There are a few rules to Omega Strikers, but among them is not mercy, as we're probably about to see.
Yeah, no mercy for these two teams, both just hunting for this S-tier win. Soondubu Strikers, it has long eluded them, even breaking up as a team too, as well, and have not played with each other for a long time, basically since actually the Phoenix LAN, where they got 3rd place. So they're looking for, I mean, they already have an upgrade. They are guaranteed at least 2nd, so you know, not necessarily a bad thing, but I don't think any of these teams came here to get 2nd. They all want to win, and right now, Soondubu Strikers are on pace to do it right now. 1-0 in the 2nd set, and they have both barriers down, and right now they have another goal, 2-0 already in this set, 30 seconds in. I mean, if you're Bozo Bunch here, I'm not really sure what you can do. You're going to need a really good draft coming in soon.
Yeah, there is a chance for that. One of those things, sometimes the drafts are sort of front-heavy for one team or the other, so we might see that it just happened to be better for the Soondubu Strikers leading into this. But if you don't come back at least a little before then, sure, they might get 2 sets, but, you know, they still, or you might get 2 sets to scale, but then they have 2 sets and they're only 1 away from taking it. And, you know, of course, if the Soondubu Strikers get this, if this is a bracket reset, we go to another 2 games, and Soondubu might just walk away with this. Core Flip, though, used from Imi, getting all the way over the other side. Bull Rush countered by a Core Flip as well. Piercing Shot goes a little bit wide. The Anomaly kind of secure and clear there, but 3Z goes off the map. Power play here for the Bozo Bunch. They're trying to get it done here. They're not able to get it just yet. Piercing Shot goes a little bit wide. Crystal Thorns is in the end able to get the Firewall Sentry, defended by a great Anomaly from Grimella. Good midfielding there. Banished as well onto the exit. Glitch Pop not able to secure the Cyber Swipe, though. Not either. Piercing Shot comes out. So many abilities being used, but Droplet is holding on to this Core Flip throughout all of it. He's got a plan for it. He might use it any second now, but he's going to miss the core with it. Just hits the goalie midfielder there, and there wasn't too much else to follow up with that. We go for another play to the middle here. We have the Sundubu Strikers trying to get it through, but the Bell Ringer is actually going to get a double stun, and then he's able to get it through with that Grimella and shapeshifting very low on HP, and Droplet is able to send it in, taking the first goal there for the Bozo Bunch.
Bozo Bunch finally, you know, showing their teeth a little bit. They have some ways to play this game for sure, and they're finally figuring it out. They have to burn this Atlas ult. They need to get this pressure and this damage out, make the Soondubu Strikers uncomfortable, and then let Dropletto, let the X kind of put it straight in after that. But the Banish coming in through here is going to be rough. But actually, it's really, really good for Bozo Bunch. Not only did they get the Atlas ult, but they got the goal too. So they have a really good chance coming into this next point to put on the damage early, and they're not going to be able to heal it up right away. We'll have to see, but it's 2-2 now. They evened them up, and we're going into this 0.5.
Yeah, 0.5 in this, and I think we're going to be seeing a lot more 0.5s as we go throughout this. Awful for the timing, but great for us getting to see all of the good Omega Strikers here today. But Glitch Pop going to hit 3Z Breezy, starting that kill process. It's a bit of a long one here for this team. You have to do a lot of damage generally when you're playing this kind of Imi X comp. Banish is really nice onto Imi there. Buys a lot of time there, but they're not really at the barrier until finally there they do, with barrier being the strike. So much follow-up required on this. 3Z Breezy goes down to the bottom with support from the Rune, but they're not able to get the barrier there. No one's able to quite finish it out. The Core Flip is nice. The Atlas as well, using that ultimate to save Grimella, keep that from being taken off the map. Of course, you do like your midfielder, even if sometimes you don't. You want to have the ability to banish the X, get him out of your face there. Dropletto very low on HP, even the Astral Projection being used in there. The barrier does fall on this, Core Flip used, but Rose Warp is really good. The Celestial Expansion is really nice too. They just keep going back and forth. Finally, the kill comes out. Strike Shot, though, beautiful counter to that Core Flip from Gret. And the Cyber Swipe, the Piercing Shot, so many abilities used. We're in overtime, so the red cores are going to be coming out so often here, but they're not able to get this final connection on this barrier. They're just not there.
Just not quite there. The Soondubu Strikers cannot get this final barrier. They do get the banish, and they do slow things down, though. So taking just a minute to relax here, but Dropletto is not giving them any time to relax. That's the whole point of the Bozo Bunch comp. Get that Atlas ult, start putting the damage on. This is their chance now to get some damage on, to get some pressure in, and get the goal, get the top angle. Dropletto puts it in and evens it up 1-1. Bozo Bunch, they came to play.
That they did. And of course, I've been talking about the bracket reset, but if Bozo Bunch take this game and the next and there is no bracket reset, they shut out the Soondubu Strikers, they take that first place. They are technically just a little bit closer than the Soondubu Strikers here from that win. And of course, perfect for Miami. I mean, you hate to see it if you're on the other team, but for the Bozo Bunch, I think that's a pretty big win.
Yeah, Bozo Bunch getting the perfect form, Amy. I mean, really, really good for kickoff, especially because you can put that turret down, get a bunch of hits on it. Immediately, you have about 10 to 15 seconds left on the next turret because of how the perfect form hits do get reduced there. So lots of good things coming here. One thing I'm actually looking at here is how much the missile prop on the Atlas is actually going to make use of, kind of shoving down those lanes, getting those clears to get it up to 3Z Breezy, who is hopefully able to sit on maybe one of the midfielders or, I'm considering Obscurebread's basically another midfielder. That's kind of the comp they're running with that Estelle goalie, but right now it is actually Dropletto that's going to be getting put down super low, has to run back into his own net to heal up, manages to do so, and it's all kind of going Soondubu's way. They get both the barriers, and now Dropletto, all you can do is just try to stall as long as possible in order to get some room in this game. Flip coming out from I, going to be stalling it for now, and they manage to hold for just the time being.
Yeah, managing to hold, but even better is the hold from the Soondubu Strikers with both their barriers still up. Jaime almost dying, is dying with a 3Z assist on that one. And the Night Market angle, great Rose Warp though from Breads, keeps this point alive for now. 7 seconds though until Jaime's back, and the Anomaly is going to send it through. On the bright side, Jaime is back now, but on the downside, you did lose that point. And that puts Soondubu a little bit closer, but we've seen them up before. We just did last set, so never count out the Bozo Bunch even when they are a little bit behind.
Yeah, and one thing to note here about the draft, too, that I didn't really talk about is actually the Sundubu Strikers got a lot of KO, potential, right? They got the Dead Eye on the Rune, so if you find a Banish with the double pillar, that's almost one-shotting, if not one-shotting, certain players on the Bozo Bunch's side. And 3Z Breezy, some people might know this, but others it might not seem like it is a big deal, but Super Surge on Asher actually is probably one of the best awakenings in terms of KO potential on the character. The reason being is this percentage on the secondary is so high, which compared to Juliet, the primary is actually what you're using to knock back mainly, and you're just setting it up with the secondary, whereas Asher's different. The primary does a decent amount of knockback, but the secondary is usually actually what's finishing it off. And with Super Surge, that's like about 30% better. It's way more damage and way more knockback coming in clutch. And speaking of knockback, we got the Banish, but no pillar coming in clutch here as the core gets sent there to deny it. So Bozo Bunch Dropletto will be living for now, and they will be able to make use of this point, but not if I has a flip like that. Unlucky, unable to find anything there, but still, everything is kind of all right for the Bozo Bunch here.
Yeah, all right for now, and even better when they get that second barrier. Soondubu, though, getting a double barrier on the other side there. Very low Grimella in the midfield, and very odd play there. This Banish, let's see how it plays out at the end, is going to be a successful clear, but that was a little bit of a tenterhooks moment there. Grimella with the Banish, kind of clutch, but also very, very nerve-wracking there. As Shapeshift, he's just trying to wait for that to happen. But 3Z Breezy not able to scare the goal. Dropletto taking a little bit of damage there from the strike shot, I believe, as well, just to keep him tagged, keep him from regenerating. And we have this core bouncing around again. The strike shot from Breads is really nice. Keeps it forward. Astral Protection sends it forward the other way here. Core flip out of Jaime goes around, but this Banish on the X is just taking him out of the game for so long, so often. And it's going to be 3Z Breezy with the dash into strike. Primary as well, just in case Breads had something, but there's not a whole lot he can do there.
Not a whole lot you can do, and the Asher calls you out just like that. Getting hit stun, getting strike through. Kind of the Asher specialty there as 3Z Breezy gets a great call out there on the clear. Now we're getting into this next point. And, one thing to note here as well with the comp, at least on paper, is that it should be Bozo Bunch's, having a bit more explosiveness and having a bit better of a time in overtime, but I feel like throughout this game so far, overtime has actually been favoring Soondubu Strikers. They've been able to find these Banishes, and they've been able to find so much value from it, but not when Grimella dies, and 3Z Breezy now at 1 HP needs the Atlas Ultimate to get healed up. The power play from Bozo Bunch is kind of just going to slow things down for now, nothing too crazy, as both barriers are still up for both teams, and Obscurebread still has that flip available, but actually makes a mistake and does not pop the flip, loses the barrier, and now Bozo Bunch are in a little bit of trouble.
A little bit of trouble with that open goal. It's so difficult to defend, but of course, if you're on that Estelle, you can keep it a little further afield with this Jaime as well, that sort of double midfield X comp, and that's going to be a kill onto 3Z. Dodge as well away from the Banish. Another barrier going down. Bozo Bunch potentially looking to reverse sweep this set here, and Grimella playing very close to the edge there, trying to bait out some abilities before teleporting away. Glitch pop saved by just some good positioning, but with the Atlas ult as well, was going to be saved anyways. And just really good play there. Strike shot misses, core flip catches, but goes over to Dropletto, sends it forward, but there's not enough steam behind it to really go through this Atlas, but they're not able to go through the Estelle either. So difficult to get through either of these goalies. Again, we were talking about it earlier with the midfield positioning. They're just so good at making sure that this goal is as annoying as possible to score.
Yeah, making it incredibly annoying, and that's what Dropletto's doing right now with that X Maximus right in Shapeshifting's face. Carmella now incredibly low, might get taken out here very, very soon, but it's actually going to be a shot on the top side, saved just barely by Shapeshifting, and also saving Gramella too. Shapeshifting putting in overtime here on the Atlas in this game. Obscure Bread still has the flip, the banish coming through now onto I, trying to set up a goal here, and they manage to find it. Gramella actually gets the hit stun onto Obscure Breads there, and 3Z Breezy finishes it right through him onto the top side. No flips used, and Soondubu Strikers, they really want this reset.
That they do, and they are 3 goals away from getting it. They have a few options here, but what do you think are among the best?
It really just depends. I think for Atlas, Rapid Fire Primetime always is going to be extremely nice. Let me take a look at the Awakenings we have so far. Everybody does have that resilience, or sorry, with that that reverberation rather, and 1-2 punch is actually going to be the denial there for them. One thing, the spark, right? The Atlas did have that spark of agility earlier on in the game, so the spark of strength would have been a good opportunity as well, but I don't think they want Dropletto to have any more damage in this game. But if you take a look at what they drafted, I mean, Primetime, that's more cooldowns, and then I, with the Stinger, perfect form, and now the Prize Fighter. If the Amy can start getting up some kills, and Dropletto, with, obviously with the help of Dropletto, now getting a little bit more power rather with the Mighty Colossus and the Built Different, getting probably around 30 or 40 power there to help out with the KOs. We're already seeing it now, the Atlas ult being needed to use immediately just to heal them up, and they're already back super low, but that means the goal is open, and actually Soondubu Strikers managed to find a barrier out of it, but also Gramella gets taken down.
Yeah. Core is also stalling here on the top side of the map. Dropletto's trying to get there, but of course X is a little bit slower, but does get the X Maximus double hit tech there. Really nice play there by Dropletto to secure that pass splitter, and 3Z Breeze is just dodging and weaving against all these abilities. Gets the second barrier, banish onto Dropletto with the anomaly as well, is going to be a kill. Piercing shot goes and doesn't do too much, but that 3Z Breezy kill is going to do a whole lot here. The anomaly not quite enough. The strike shot, the astral projection not quite enough either. Gramella whiffing a strike, unfortunately, and teleporting up to the top. A little bit of miscommunication there, not quite passing securely. The core flip is countered by a barrier beam from 3Z Breezy, goes across, but of course, something like that isn't going to get Breads too easily now. We're not quite that late in the game. The astral projection gets it forward. Firewall Sentry putting so much pressure on, but a great banish onto Zex again. Cyber Swipe not going to get through either. Piercing shot gets it to the Atlas, but no further than Shapeshifting, who has just been so solid on this defense.
Yeah, and both comps, I feel like they're both kind of almost fully unlocked here with the Awakenings that they've gotten. Both have the opportunity to kill, as we're seeing right here with Dropletto going down low, but Bozo Bunch do still have that explosiveness. They do still have that damage on the Amy, and they have the turret to save it for now, but 3Z Breezy just stuffs it right back into Breads' face from the flip. It's not gonna matter, and 3Z Breezy feeling great about that goal as they're 2 points away from the bracket reset.
Yeah, and you can see them spinning there in joy, celebrating that they are so close here to first place. I mean, the bracket reset has to happen first, but that is something that does have to happen if they want that. But good Atlas secondary keeps it forward. The piercing shot from the Estelle is really nice to keep it forward. The glitch pop comes out as well. They're trying to get it back and forth here. Both teams just trying to push along, and now with both bears being on the same side, there is a lot of push down this bottom lane. Top lane as well is where the fight is going to be happening right now. For the meantime, almost a kill from 3Z onto I, but not going to get the kill onto them just yet. The core flip out of Asher. The Crystal Thorns, they're doing a little bit of tagging on 3Z Breezy just to make sure that he can't regenerate here. But a good banish onto the X is going to take him out of the game once again. Gramella teleporting to the top as well. 3Z Breezy very low on HP. Shapeshifting with the core flip ready and locked to get it up to 3Z Breezy if he can get it through the gate speed there from that little blue in the middle of the Night Market map. Is just so nice as well for getting core forward. Bit of a weird Night Market angle there as well. It just kind of ricocheted for a second, and in the end, it is going to go forward. Gramella missing the strike after the teleport. The X Maximus comes out as well, but it's immediately banished again. Just poor X not being able to actually punch anybody with that because he just instantly gets countered every time. Core flip comes out. A lot of anomalies. Just Gramella on the defense as well, making sure there's no tricky angles. You just have to send it through Shapeshifting. He's not going to lose those so easily.
Shapeshifting not losing those strike wars very easily, but Breezy Breezy losing his life, and it seemed like a blink of an eye as the Amy and the Estelle just put on so much damage in a moment's notice. Drapletto now trying to get this last barrier with the X Maximus. He manages to do so. No banish this time around for him to get denied as the Bozo Bunch are trying to get this last point to even it up, but they manage to hold. Soondubu are still in this point as they manage to get Drapletto incredibly low, and they're actually looking for a KO on their own.
Yeah, they're also looking for a gold there. They're almost there. But in the end, with Gret on the defense as well as Obscure Breads, it's so difficult to actually get through. Shapeshifting has this core flip again. The Bull Rush countered by just an Atlas secondary, so that core flip still stands. Such an important tool to keep alive on that goalie. Just, you have to not greed it either. So we're going to see when that comes out. It's going to be right then with the Banish on X. Good timing by Grimella to secure that clear. But the Piercing Shot gets it forward. Astral Projection not going to quite find the connection, but the Bell Ringer will hit it backwards. And shot up to 3Z Breezy, but not quite enough. The passes are not completely secured here with that Ainu with the perfect form. And core flip up to the top, Drapletto finding the cross shot.
I call that the Drapletto angle. It's not really a special thing, but I feel like he always goes for it, or he pops the flip, especially on Night Market, just right kind of close by the midfield, and then immediately smacks it onto that top side. He loves that top side shot. Well, I guess on his side it would be the bottom side, but either way, to us, it was all the same as two flips now for the Soondubu Strikers. One going to be used. Not much going to happen as Bread's stalwart in the net, holding his own, not going to get scared and intimidated by this Asher running at you. But what is intimidating is Drapletto just sprinting at you with the Amy turret, running away with the core. Grimella incredibly low. Drapletto trying to be hunting the kill, but Grimella just running into the Bozo Bunch's own net. And needs to be careful. They might just go down here as Drapletto needs to just is getting kind of screened away now from 3Z Breezy, who came back to help his midfielder, and everything is settled now. Soondubu Strikers managed to hold on a little bit.
Yeah, they're holding on. They get the Banish on the X again for another time, and great dodge from Grimella. They're using the secondary to teleport out of the line of danger, but 3Z goes into the goal. Grimella able to stall the time a little bit, but they really need to find 7 whole seconds until 3Z Breezy is back on the field. Firewall Sentry not going to find the core flip from the IMU. Cyber Swipe as well, going to finally find the barrier, but 3Z Breezy is back on the field. They have the chance now to try and fight back. The Glitch Pop gets it forward, and overtime red cores abound here as we are so deep into this game. Goes up into the corner, the Astral Projection sends it forward, but it's immediately countered just with strikes alone. Piercing Shot goes forward, the core flip as well from Drapletto, but it's not enough. The great anomaly from Grimella there. But up to the top, 3Z Breezy finds the angle to get the barrier. Banish onto the Stealth, they can get it over there, but Drapletto's buying time, going to the top, going to the middle! And he's gonna find the goal there. Was an almost amazing play there from the Soondubu Strikers with the Banish onto Estelle, but if you can't close it out, you just can't close it out.
Yeah, they actually managed to clear it away Bozo Bunch managed to clear it away with the Banish right before it happens, and so they managed to get an offensive possession right when they needed it, and they get that goal. Drapletto coming in clutch with the mind games, with kind of the fancy feet there, getting the dribble into the shot in the middle, and now they lost both their barriers, but they do have an offensive possession here, and they're trying to run away with it. They get the first barrier. Can they get the second one? Can they get the extra credit? No. Soondubu Strikers, it's their turn now. Grimella and 3Z are trying to hunt for this goal, but it looks like everything is going to relax now as the defense for the Bozo Bunch is seeming like it's going to hold the flip from Breads, making sure it does, and just keeping it now. It's Bozo Bunch's turn, and they get the flip and they get the KO. It's now a power play for the Bozo Bunch.
Yeah, power play. Let's see if they can make use of it, though. The strike shot, the Crystal Horns keeps it forward. The core flip, though, from the Atlas is going to buy so much time. Asher is now back on the field. The Banish up to the top. Piercing shot. Not only not enough to secure, didn't quite have the perfect angle to send it back in, nor deny the rebound fully. Cyberswipe gets it forward as well. A lot of low health bars, though, on the side of the Soondubu Strikers. 3Z is trying to get it forward, but the piercing shot as well. They've just been so good from Breads this entire game. And that is going to be the goal scored by the entirety of the Soondubu Strikers. You need every single person to get it through, but they only need to do it once more to get that bracket reset.
One more time, but they also can't let Bozo Bunch get one more goal, or else it is going to be the coveted set 5. As we've been seeing so much in these tournaments, so many incredibly close games have come in this tournament. So lots of good film and a great Banish, the triple Banish. It might just give Soondubu Strikers the tool they need in order to win this game, but they managed to clear it for now. Bozo Bunch get both barriers as well, and it looks like things are going to settle for now. Which team can actually score first? We'll have to see here. Take it away, AJ.
It's been a little bit of a bait there from that Banish, making shape-shifting play up a little bit, but that's going to be almost the goal. The core flip comes out of Imi, but it's denied by the anomaly. We have the piercing shot forward. We have so much damage coming on to everybody at this top side of the map. The Banish comes out, but only on the Imi. Drapletto dodged out of the way, and now Imi's back on the field. Low health bar, but so is Grimella. Almost dying is the Imi, but also is the Rune. It's just a battle to see which midfielder falls first, and it's not going to be either one just yet. There goes the Rune. Dropletto has the core. Core flip on the hands of Shapeshifting, though, is going to mean that the goal is not denied away from the Bozo Bunch as they catch the rebound. And I sends it in on the me to take them to this 5th set.
I like that one. I like that little one there. That was a good one as we're getting into this draft here. Finishing it off, couple little interesting things that could happen here. Shapeshifting does have that spark of focus he could possibly choose from, but Amy does have the first pick. We'll see where he goes. Wants the twin drive, has, you know, the power, wants more abilities here. That's 2 sparks now. Spark of agility, spark of focus for the Atlas. The Atlas so incredibly strong here in this game, has so many abilities to play with. And with the extra focus cooldown now is going to be able to save his teammates a little bit more. And speaking of saving, that's Stagger from the Big Fish, Stagger from the Spark of Resilience coming in for all of the Soondubu Strikers. They have their game plan. They know what they need to do. They just are trying to get more time and buy more time to execute that game plan. But that's a specialized training on an X. And I'm a little bit scared for Sundubu if Dropletto gets just any time to ult these guys, anyone near close to the edge, right? They're just going to get thrown off of the pitch, and it's going to get a lot harder for Sundubu. But right now, as we're getting into this 5th set, it's actually right now Sundubu who's lost both their goals, and Bozo Bunch are still on a tear.
They are on a tear indeed, but it's kind of being mitigated a little bit there by the Soondubu Strikers. We're going to see that the banish on the Imi is really nice. Grimella, though, very low on HP. The barrier goes down there. Dropletto going to the other side, but it doesn't get anything done. There's no steam behind this play. It's just buying time. Corpus on the IME, but Cosmic Expanse from the Atlas. That is going to be Grimella going down, though. The Atlas ult was just a little bit delayed. Core Flip is available on Dropletto. Let's see what happens when it gets over there, but it's going to be very explosive. As soon as something happens, we are going to see things kind of explode. The Glitch Pop gets it forward. Core Flip out, and the Astral Projection stuns up the X, so he can't counter flip either. The counter flip goes out, dodges the banish too, but the last second on the line save from Shapeshifting means the point will go on.
Point is going on, but maybe not for much longer. An Unstable Anomaly on the top side is going to deny that clear angle. Only the bottom side can be played through, as Threezy Breezy now needs some health. He needs an Atlas Ult. I don't think it's there for him, but there it is. He gets fully healed by it. The Soondubu Strikers have another chance, but Amy has that turret kind of coming in and slowing things down here. Dropletto trying to find that bottom side corner, but Shapeshifting is just doing so much work in the goal box to keep it out. But Grimella, it goes down. There's no Atlas Ult to save you there. Threezy Breezy is incredibly low as well. Can Dropletto and I put it in on this power play? Bozo Bunch have everything they need. They just need to get it in, and they get the KO, and they get the goal. Extra credit for Dropletto and I as they put it in, and they put themselves 2 goals closer to even up the set here at 1-1.
That they are so close here, and that would be not necessarily devastating for the Soondubu Strikers, but definitely means the road is going to be a lot harder for them. They do still have opportunities. They would not be down and out just yet, but they would be a whole lot closer. We see a lot of passing play there. Speaking of closeness there, Obscure Bread's unfortunately out of position, but Threezy Breezy a little too close to the edge, out of position in his own right there. But Shapeshifting on this defense, so strong, so low on HP though as well. Dropletto trying his best to kill this Atlas even through the ult. The Cyber Swipe Glitch Pop as well, so much damage onto Atlas, and that's one of the win conditions is just kill the Atlas so he's not there to support, he's not there to defend, and it's so much easier to secure those kills when you have to be hanging back and you don't have that ult behind you. They're not quite able to get it though, and Shapeshifting back at full HP. Now they're switching, they're trying to get Grimella or Threezy, but they don't quite have that full focus to just target one person. Banish on Dropletto takes away half his health bar, but he does still have the core flip. The Bull Rush comes out. A lot of damage though, and a good save on a Grimella too. Shapeshifting is on top of things, but not on top of that. Dropletto gets the kill, but not the barrier. Unfortunately, not getting the perfect angle onto that little tiny pixel he's aiming for in the bottom. And it's going to get past to I, though. Anomaly on the top, though. Just a nice secure away from this Imi, but securing the orb is great, making sure that Rune cannot heal. Piercing shot going to tag him again. Dropletto goes into his own goal, though. The pass splitter as well is going to mean that this is a very forward play. Astral Projection forces out the core flip pass down to Threezy, who gets it into the corner, unfortunately. Shapeshifting own barriers, unfortunately! And we're going to keep going forward here, though. They're going to try and just close it out without that ability there, but they're just not quite able to get it through in the end. Shapeshifting has to use Astral Projection up to the top just to try and keep his tempo forward. The Anomaly, though, is really nice to keep it from going in. Threezy Breezy taking a lot of damage on the back of this play here. Banish comes out, hits the core and Dropletto, but the core is actually, or the Anomaly is going to be denied from that nice setup that Grimella was going for. Good play there by I. Dropletto misses the strike. The nerves on these players, you start to see it building up just a little bit. The Anomaly is perfect, though even still, core flip forced out of this Atlas. He's using it to try and get that tempo forward. Once again, the blue blue gate is used by 3Z. The speed is more on the core though, and it goes through in overtime with the dash strike through this Asher, who even tried to evade save, but it wasn't enough.
Yeah, the evade save was so close, but 3Z actually hit the core instead of Bread, so the evade was kind of for naught, and Bread's unable to react in time. But these teams, man, you said it before, the nerves are starting to come in here. I'm seeing some whiff strikes, I'm seeing some abilities kind of being wasted here. These players, I can tell they're shaking because I'm starting to shake a little bit. I'm starting to get some nerves here. This is exciting as Bozo Bunch and, Sundubu Strikers, you can feel the emotion. You can see how much these teams care. You can see how hard they're trying to win this game, and right now Bozo Bunch are kind of the ones in the lead here, getting this first barrier, and they have so much damage to do it as well. Keep an eye on right? Keep an eye on the Amy. Has so many cooldowns, has so much damage with the Stinger as well. It's just making it so incredibly hard for the Soondubu Strikers to live, but if they can manage to stay alive, keep the point going as long as they have been so far, they are going to have a good shot at this game. But as I say, that Grimella looking incredibly low, still trying to make a play on the top side. 3Z flipping, but Bread's managing to deny it for now, but loses the barrier in the end anyway as Grimella Dropletto. Someone might die here, and I feel like that's going to be the thing that opens up the game here, AJ. I'm not really sure what's going to happen, but right now Bozo Bunch are working at this KO. They're working at this goal. It's only a matter of time before something happens.
They are working overtime in the KO mines here, trying to get something done, but Grimella there on the core control, trying to make it end. They're shape-shifting the one to get it in the end. Great play in the end there by the Soondubu Strikers, holding on. And again, we're talking about nerves. 1 point from bracket reset. Don't want to jinx them too hard, but definitely be on the lookout here because this is going to be very close.
This is going very close right now. Soondubu Strikers 1 point away from the bracket reset, but they need to get through this Bozo Bunch squad one more time, possibly 2 more times if Bozo Bunch ends up scoring here on this point. And I mean, it wouldn't be a Soondubu Strikers game if it wasn't a 0.5, a set 5.5. Look, come on, let's get it for the fans, get it for the boys. Come on, Bozo Bunch, let's see if you can get Soondubu Strikers, get the better of them just one more time, as the damage actually coming in on Dropletto instead here. 3Z Breezy managing to survive a little bit longer, but Dropletto, fighting back a little bit, but the pass splitter's actually going to take out Dropletto, and now Soondubu Strikers on a rare power play.
Yeah, power play and 1 barrier up as well. This is the advantage, but 5 seconds until the X is done. They get the second barrier, but there's not too much steam left. The Anomaly sends it backwards and up to Grimella, who gets the goal. And ladies and gentlemen, we now have a bracket reset on our hands. Soondubu Strikers, they are looking for this first place, and they are hungry for it.
They are absolutely famished right now. They are starving. They want this win. They've been waiting. Actually, I was thinking, I said 1 year before. They've been waiting, I think it's been almost 2 years since they've been playing with each other, if not longer if you're counting beta. Obviously a different goalie this time around in shape-shifting, but the melee goalie heart is still alive and well for the boys in the West Coast, the Soondubu Strikers. Man, look at the stats here. 60k damage on 3Z Breezy for what you're supposed to have, not even close to a kill comp. But then you look at the other side of the coin, almost 80k on 70k on Dropletto, 43k, which is no measly amount here on Obscure Breads. And the redirect amounts, we have 2 players actually both reaching 400 redirects. The Brawlers both sitting nice at 250, and then 370 to 320 for the midfielders. Actually, I just realized I was the one with 400, and Shapeshifting is the one with 400. So most redirects in the entire game on that Amy, putting in overtime, but they just were not quite able to get enough. 3Z Breezy and Grimella managing to find those crucial plays at the end to set them apart and get to this bracket reset that, I think everyone's kind of been waiting for. I can hear the crowd getting a little excited outside. Everyone's getting hype here.
Yeah, hype indeed. When you're, even if you are not a fan as much of the Soondubu Strikers, even if you're rooting for the Bozo Bunch, getting to see these teams tackle each other for another minimum 2 games is going to be great. Unless you're one of the 2 TOs, we apologize to you for giving you some amazing games here, but it's going to take a little bit longer, and it's going to be a little bit harder. But the nerves on these players, it goes really either way. Sometimes, if you're in Soondubu Strikers' shoes, you're like, we got the bracket reset, we don't have to worry. 1 more best of 3, we've been here 100 times before, don't worry about it. Other times, the players are in those shoes, and they're like, oh, we got the bracket reset, we gotta keep going, we gotta keep going, we gotta keep going, we gotta keep going. And sometimes it really just get the best of them. So I hope for the sake of the games we're about to see, and for their own hearts, it'll be good to see them just get back to there, take a bit of a break, have a little bit of time just to chillax, and just learn and maybe go out the draft differently if you didn't like the way it goes. Like if you're on the side of the Bozo Bunch, you know, you maybe had a certain draft plan here in the bracket reset. This is kind of your go-ahead to say, hey, we tried something, didn't work, but that was kind of our throwaway. We weren't really betting on the bracket reset. Maybe we were just using that as our test to see what we really need to draft against them.
Yeah, I mean, keep an eye on this reset. We're going to see very shortly the map bans again. I'm very curious, honestly, excuse me, the map picks and bans, is it going to be the same? I mean, Bozo Bunch, like I was saying earlier, those are maps that they like. They love Oni Village, they love Night Market, they love Taiko Temple, they love these maps that are more favorable for these speed comps, for these melee goalies, for these their kind of play style, right? It's the same thing with Soondubu Strikers, but are they going to throw in maybe a new little wrinkle? Are they going to go with a map? Maybe they've been prepping in the back pocket. Maybe Soondubu Strikers don't really like it as much. We'll have to see, because if it goes how it just did, I mean, I don't know if I'd bet on the Bozo Bunch again, but hey, they got here to the winners finals. They already beat the Sundubu Strikers, so they definitely have the tools to do it. We're just going to have to see if they can manage to pull through, as I think the players might be taking a tiny little break again. They're doing the coin flip. We're trying to figure things out. I think the staff's kind of freaking out right now. I don't think we've literally had a bracket reset in a long time, at least at LAN. I think this is the first LAN bracket reset ever.
That does sound just about right. At the very least, it's been a while, but definitely hyped to see, though, and it's going to be nice to see how these teams go forward, but it is a little bit of one of those weird ones where you just don't really know exactly what to do, you know? I didn't think I'd get this far, but it is, again, really nice to see. It's good to see everyone in the chat and everyone out there as well. I mean, again, like you were saying, we could hear people on the other side of a thick, soundproofed wall there through 2 doors, and we could still hear some of the hype, so I hope that y'all keep that going in the future, because it's always great to hear. Keeps us going as well. That energy just keeps going back and forth, so we really do appreciate y'all on that too.
Yeah, we can see the crowd behind us right now. Take a look behind us. We can say hi. There's someone putting bunny ears over us beforehand a little bit earlier. But yeah, hey, there we are on the TVs back there too. But yeah, the crowd gathering all kind of towards the back of the room on the TVs there, leaving the players be. Which honestly, compared to the other lands, I think that's the biggest thing, is we have a lot more space. The New York land, we had some space too, but for example, the Phoenix land, we had like almost 0 space because of how the venue was. So all the players were just packed, or all the spectators rather, were just packed behind the players. You couldn't even breathe if you were sitting in those chairs. I remember it was absolutely insane and a crazy little, I guess, thing to be a part of. But we got a little bit more space. The players have some room to breathe. They have some room to relax here. That's why I think we're going to be seeing a little bit of a mental reset from the Bozo Bunch here, hopefully. As we're getting into map bans right now, as we get the link here, I believe the players are readied up, and we should be seeing this first map ban soon. I'm assuming it's going to be like an Inky's ban, maybe an Atlas Lab ban, something like that, where they're trying to get rid of, at least for the Soondubu Strikers, get rid of this explosivity. Actually, they're going to get rid of Clarion, and they're going to get rid of Gates of Obscura, which I guess is kind of the same thing, where the maps change, you know, the portals change around with Clarion, the maps literally change every single point. They want as little, I guess, randomness as possible, as little RNG as possible. They want to keep their game plan. They want to keep everything consistent. They want to force Bozo Bunch into positions they don't want to be in. And Bozo Bunch need to find a way to get out of that hole.
But on the other side, it is banning away CTC and Gates of Obscura. And if it was my pick, the bracket reset would be predetermined. Like, it would be Inkies, it would be Gates of Obscura, it would be CTC. Just take them to those maps.
Yeah, see some new maps. Or like it plays all the leftover ones or something. That'd be fun.
Would be pretty sick to see, but in the end, we are going to go to Taiko Temple starting off, Oni Village second, and then at Lab. I mean, how poetic would it be if we go Game 3 bracket reset, go to at Lab, where it all began, sort of I mean, I'm not a top player, but I would say it's one of the top maps. It's kind of been
one of the big
standard.
The big 3 for sure. Oni Village, one of the previous big 3, kind of faded out of the meta for a little while. Not really many people played it. It was out of the map pool for a long time. But Soondubu Strikers, Soondubu Village, they're going to be bringing us right back there for Game 2, as always, feeling very, very comfortable on that. But first of all, we're going to this Game 1 Taiko Temple, which was supposed to be the Game 3 last time. It was a little bit denied from the Bozo Bunch, so they want to bring us there. They want to show us why they wanted to get to Taiko Temple, because they have something prepared. Soondubu banning away the Octavia. They do not want I to have that comfort, especially with the stacks on stacks with the reverb, which are going to be the Awakening starting up for us here. And I'm expecting Bozo Bunch to ban, I mean, maybe even the Atlas, maybe the Asher. Yep, the Asher ban, paying respect to 3Z Breezy, who has just been absolutely on fire with that pick the last 2 games.
Yeah, put some respect on 3Z's name. I mean, say what you want about him. I don't think I've ever heard anything bad, but even if you did have anything bad to say about him, you gotta respect the Asher at a bare minimum, because that was absolutely demonic in these last games. The other thing as well, I definitely agree with fearing the Octavia, because we just saw I put 407 redirects on an IME, let alone an Octavia. And so I think that's one of the new records I've seen for redirects in a game, let alone a game of these stakes. And so always amazing to see games that are that back and forth. We're going to see the Estelle pick up here by Soondubu Strikers. They're going back to that. Grimella, of course, has been talking about that. I heard there was even a strategy board involved at some point with that. But we also have the Now X, potentially a Mako for that final pick if it's not denied away.
Yeah, they have the Mako here, shapeshifting. Gonna love that one. I mean, it's kind of between the Mako or the Atlas, and when you lock in an X and rather a Now, you're not really gonna need the Atlas there. I feel like you're not going for damage. You're gonna go for that explosiveness. You're gonna go with the help for the Rasmus. Getting that size is the Mako gonna be helping out Breezy Breezy there, and then Estelle on Grimella, who's playing incredible on that pick in the first game on Oni Village. So we'll see how it plays away. And oh, okay. Tycho is getting a little spicy now, ladies and gentlemen. We have Obscure Breads playing one of his patented picks, I believe, unless it's like a weird midfield thing, but I doubt it. I think Breads is going to be on the Finny. They have a little bit of damage, actually, now. X and Now, both pretty high damage characters, now kind of forgotten about in terms of the damage. Actually does a lot of damage, and if they can get like heavy impact or if they can get any sort of power, those mines are going to start to do a lot of damage.
Yeah, a ton of damage. There's so many things to factor in there, but the bare minimum, the factor you need to be worried about is that damage. So, but on the other side, of course, Restel is been one of the best forward duos throughout the entirety of this game. Back to basics, back to classics, as we were talking about. They even have the poster buff because we had the Rasmus and the Estelle posters for San Francisco. BestieInSlot if you want to get one. But it's going to be fun to see them here in the flesh, so to speak, here. And I don't know, it's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of fun. Let's see the Awakenings coming in here. It's going to be on the side of Soondubu Strikers, all reverberation. They want that stagger. They want to live. They want to play the game as long as possible. And Breads and I are going to be taking away the stacks on stacks. And Dropletto actually running the Siphoning Wand this time. Big fan of that. Big Siphoning Wand kind of guy with the reverberation. He's going to start trying to do some chip damage, start bringing down the Soondubu Strikers as low as possible for these KOs to start coming in. But I have a feeling that won't be happening too much, as both barriers now down for the Soondubu Strikers early on in this first set. Soon now bet by a counter, almost going to be getting both, but one for now will do for the Soondubu Strikers.
Yeah, one for now, but then it's two immediately found there, and this potentially goal to follow here, but the setup denied. Not quite perfect there. Dropletto X Maximus not going to find too much. Grimella standing against the drum just to survive there. Really nicely done, but the bell ringer from Dropletto. And that is an X taking the first goal, and that is not a good sign. Because, of course, X, I mean, it's been kind of the thing for a while, but he's a scaling character. And sometimes there's the memes, you know, you drop an awful game, you get swept 3-0, and it's like, don't worry, we scale. But on X, he really does.
Yeah, I actually really do like the Siphoning Wand pick rather, as well for the X here. The reason being is that on Tycho Temple, the ball's kind of going wherever it wants to go, right? The Slicks, you're not going to get in the ball that much. The Slicks aren't really that useful. The Mag Soul's not really what you want on the Brawler on this map anyway, and the whole goal for this X is to chip people down, is to start getting that pressure piled up, and just that little bit of damage, that little bit of healing from the Siphoning Wand is going to be helping that much more, as a great flip from I, teleporting back onto Bread's face to save him there and to keep their goal alive. Coming right back around, getting that first barrier. It's now a game, folks, as we're seeing Grimella looking incredibly low here, but still posturing for that goal. True Estelle player, trying to always look for a goal here, but Dropletto beating up Breezy Breezy. They're starting to get super low. The Soondubu Strikers are just getting absolutely blasted here, but they still have a barrier to hold, and they still have time.
They do have time for now, but, I mean, how much time is there left when 3Z and Grimella are solo on HP? But the ultimate, the pendulum swing, forcing out the corporate from the obscure Breads there. Almost went back to old habits and called them obscure beads like I did the first time I ever cast it. But, you know, what a throwback there. But here we are now, and they are almost about to clear it. There they go. Finally goes across there. Shapeshifting, able to get a fantastic clear with the primary into strike. Dribble off the drum into the goal. 3Z Breezy putting in the work and saying, doesn't matter how much you beat me up, I'm still alive. I have 1 HP. That's all I need.
It's kind of the Sundubu motto there. I mean, they love taking stagger. They love taking as much survivability as they can because they don't care about killing you. They don't care about all that type of stuff. They just want to play the game as long as possible, because as long as they're alive, anything can happen. And as we see right there, Threezy Breezy kind of playing with his food a little bit with that extra dribble on Obscure Breads, puts it in on the bottom side, and just gives them that one goal that they need to even things up here, 1-1 in this first set on Taiko Temple.
What inspirational words. As long as you're alive, anything can happen.
Yeah.
And absolutely the motto here, but not the motto for Grimella, and therefore you are not alive. You cannot defend that one. And that is the motto of the Bozo Bunch here. The absolute haters of this one right now, just deciding, doesn't matter, we didn't kill you yet, but that's a yet. We will do it, we will get through. And the bell ringer will send it backwards, but the barrier is not claimed. The pendulum swing almost takes Dropletto off the map. The snare drums keeps it forward as well. One barrier down, but the rebound isn't perfect. It goes a little bit to the midfield. Big finish comes out, but not through either. The drums here in the corner are so useful. Piercing shot finds two. A lot of damage coming out, but again, a lot of healing from this now too. Gret, though, very low on HP, even after the healing. A lot of damage coming out there. Primary from Shapeshifting goes forward too. Dribble off the drum. Threezy Breezy going down. Just had the read on Gret there, but wasn't super fast there. So it took a couple of seconds for it to get through. Wasn't a perfect rebound catch. And it's just going to go for another cycle here. But for now, one barrier still standing here for the Soondubu Strikers. They kept both alive for so long that when they lost that, they only lost the one barrier. They were able to keep this going, so it's just tied up, but they're still behind in the score. And this is, again, bracket reset, so they're kind of restored here. 0 games to 0 games effectively. Threezy Breezy, though, finding the second barrier, going up to Grimella, but the bull rush from Dropletto was able to get through. The piercing shot finds two, but no core. The card is also flying from all the way downtown, but no goal scored just yet.
No goal scored just yet. Almost just there, though, but the now with the flip going to be helping there. 2 KOs actually coming in. I believe the Estelle took out the goalie there on the side of Bozo Bunch, and with no goalie, it means that anything can happen, and Shapeshifting finds that primary hit onto the top side. Taiko Temple, ladies and gentlemen, this is why we love this map. This is why we love how random it can be. I don't love playing it, but I love casting it.
What words to live by as well. So many maps are like that where they're just so much fun to watch when you're playing. Sometimes you don't like the randomness, sometimes you don't like the drums, especially if you're Dropletto and you have an Estelle that's standing near a drum so she can't die. Maybe you don't love that one, but it's amazing just the mechanics that these players can bring out of these drums. So of course, the tools are only as good as the people using them, and well, these drums are tools that are absolutely used by the masters of this game, and this one, undisputedly, some of the best teams in the world right now with just this LAN. I mean, we also had the EU versus NA show match earlier to prove, once and for all, of course, that NA is superior, and there's absolutely no argument there whatsoever, and no bias either. But we have here the dribble off the drum in the middle, the big finish, not fully countered, but is able to not, they are able to make it not shoot directly at the barrier. And Grimella trying to build up this core flip, trying to get it out in any way, keeps it away from the now arrow as well. So nicely done. Threezy Breezy, a little bit of a world tour that on that one. And is going to go off the map. Power play here for the Bozo Bunch, and they are going to try and get this barrier.
Going around the world is Threezy Breezy, now dead for 3 more seconds. Shapeshifting now almost dead, but managing to survive for now. Dropletto going to be hunting that KO, but the cage is going to be locking him up just enough time for him to get an orb, and Shapeshifting, no, does not heal back up in time and gets put into the back of his own net. Dropletto has a chip on his shoulder from getting stuffed so many times. Both little striker whiffs into the Sad Boys emote. Dropletto finally getting that barrier and going to be putting it in after the bell ringer to stun Grimella. Perfect play there for Dropletto. Well done, young man, as Bozo Bunch are going to be starting us off with the first set.
Yeah, first set on their map, again with that caveat, but like you were saying earlier, these teams are so good at playing these maps, and I mean, I'm afraid if you are Soondubu Strikers, you're using the Sad Boy emote when there's that Monumental. Never mind, it's the Spark of Focus on that now. Wants that cooldown instead of the Monumentalist. I'm not sure about that one, but there's probably some big brain play that I am just too small brain to see, but that Stinger Siphoning one combo is definitely fierce too.
I think the idea is the now is kind of, I guess, meant to hold the comp together. You're not doing a ton of damage with the now. You're not really meant to be doing so much. You're meant to just kind of keep the X alive, try to deny them as much as possible, and with that Spark Deny, it allows that Spark of Resilience later on from being too powerful if someone on the Soondubu Strikers wanted to go for those sparks, right? So another big thing actually with that draft real quick is Dropletto obviously getting that Stinger, more damage coming in, and Breads as well getting the Twin Drive, more damage debuffs going to be coming out for the Bozo Bunch, making their job a whole lot easier. But Threezy Breezy did start getting size. He got the recovery drone, which will make it a little bit easier for him. Getting popped right there, actually, so he won't have that for the rest of the set, and he might even go down here if Dropletto decides to kill him, but no, he's going to go for the goal instead, and Grimella and Shapeshifting just cannot hold in time, and Threezy Breezy now get down, and Bozo Bunch on a power play, not even going to need the flip. Pretty short one there, as Dropletto puts it in the top side.
You say a short one, but it was still 36 seconds on that goal. The fact that that's the short one is...
well, the short power play, rather.
The short power play.
Yeah.
But short goal as well. It did feel short just because we've had some very long overtimes, so it was the short point too. Dropletto, though, finding the double there. Corf with a little bit of a whiff, but it does stun up the goalie and the midfield there as well. But great primer from Shapeshifting stops the core flip from Obscure Breads. Breezy Breezy trying to crawl towards this orb in the corner, trying to stay alive. And you were talking about earlier, there's so much damage. The core flip drum kill style points on Gret there as they put it right through there and into the drums. Threezy, though, finding the one, maybe the double, but misses the pendulum swing there. Not the perfect setup, and dies for it as well. Does not have the style to continue living, it seems, as that appears to be the rules we're going for on this one. The card and the bell ringer, the X Maximus through. In the end, it is going to be Bozo Bunch taking the lead.
Yeah, I mean, there's only so much you can do when the Bozo Bunch are basically just on a permanent power play that entire time, just getting one kill after another after another. Bozo Bunch finally have the damage to get it done. Soondubu Strikers, I'm a bit worried for them this set. I think regardless on how this one goes, they're going to need to get a little bit more survivability, a little bit more ways to stay alive if they want any hope in getting this game here, this Taiko Temple map. Either that, or they just play better, win more, right? Play a little bit better, get these barriers down, get these interactions won, because then if you win fast enough, you're not going to die in time, right? But as I say that, both barriers down and possibly the kill. No, denied here for Shape-Shifting. Going to keep them alive a little bit longer, but he's staggered in the back, and I think he could die at a moment's notice if Dropletto decides to turn his head over to that side. But one barrier to none here, and Dropletto, doesn't even matter, puts it in the top corner. That's going to be 2 sets to the Bozo Bunch. We can see now why they wanted to go to Taiko so bad.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine why they would ever want to go to Taiko Temple. I mean, they obviously had no plan and didn't think about this at all. But they definitely did. There's a lot of drafting going on between the bracket reset, I'm sure. And, of course, the X is scaled now. He was already really strong at the beginning. He's winning the early game. So it is going to be so difficult here for the Soondubu Strikers to go up ahead in this. But the Stagger Swagger deny as well is massive.
Yeah, this is actually huge. So there was a kind of a spark bait here. You could have just gone Spark of Agility if you were the now and keep that scaling. But your job as now is not to scale. Your job as now is just to keep everything together. Like I said, now is the glue. Now is just denying, making sure the Soondubu Strikers can't do anything. And the Stagger Swagger is going to make sure that Breezy Breezy and Grimella are just not allowed to live in this game no matter what. And also with the speed's nice too, right? But one thing that will help the Soondubu Strikers, Dropletto, or rather, Grimella getting that, actually now that I think about it, there pretty much is nothing helping the Sundubu Strikers here. They had a pretty lopsided draft there. Dropletto getting the size, I getting the Stagger Swagger, Obscure Breads getting the Glass Cannon. I mean, this is just all Bozo Bunch. We're going to need some heroics and a miracle out of Sundubu Strikers to win this map.
But maybe it's a miracle. We might see it happen. We have seen stranger things before. I mean, shout out earlier to the upset Woe Chills versus, I believe it was Demon's Raw that upset.
Yeah, interesting game.
Seed 15 versus Seed 1.
16 versus 1.
16 versus 1 even. Really good to see there. And we are seeing a bit of a miracle happen as we see 2 barriers go down. And Dropletto taking a little bit of damage, but not nearly as much as Threezy and Grimella. If they can secure the goal, then they'll be fine. But that is a bit of an ask here when you're up against Breads and Gret, who we've just been seeing all day so strong in that defense.
Yeah, so incredibly strong. Bozo Bunch actually losing both barriers now. So, bit of a, a little bit of Soondubu comeback here possibly. But as I say that, of course, Caster Curse, classic for me in the casting booth. Going to be back away on the Bozo Bunch side. Grimella now incredibly low. Dropletto rather trying to kill Grimella, but not able to find it in time. But now Soondubu have an attack. They have a chance to do something here, but no, it just keeps going back forward. But Breads is just an unbreakable wall so far in this game, and Dropletto wants to put it in. Grimella almost dead now, staggered, has to make a play now with this flip. No, does not make anything happen. He gets put away into the top side, and now it's going to be a Bozo Bunch power play.
Bozo Bunch power play, they're going for it, but the arrow is backwards. Decays, thankfully, right in time. Corplet built up on this now. Threezy Breezy low on HP, and the top shot from Gret is gonna be putting it through. You're expecting the pass. Oh, it's a midfielder. Obviously, that means they pass their forward. That's how it's supposed to happen. But no, at this level, midfield forward, it's kind of a bit of a blurred line there. They do what they need to do, and they get it done regardless of who they are, where they are, and what character they're playing.
The goal in Omega Strikers is to score. Killing helps with the scoring, but at the end of the day, the core flip goes in the top side, and the now feels really good about it. Now Grimella not feeling very good. Same with Breezy Breezy, but Dropletto feeling amazing with the double. Finds the angle, fit the goal to Bozo Bunch. All might as well have just taken this map. Soondubu Strikers need to start a comeback now, or they're going to have to come back on this Oni Village map next game.
Yeah, I mean, they have the option to come back. We've seen them on Oni Village before, but definitely not where you want to be, and definitely where you want to be if you are on the Bozo Bunch or one of their fans. But here we go, a lot of aggression here in the top side. The first barrier going down, the second not to follow there. Triple take as well, stacking up on top of that just to make sure that nothing happens. Pass up to the corner into the drum is really nice, but doesn't get too much of a clear there. Not the high speed we've been expecting from all these overtime plays. Piercing shot doesn't get it all the way through. Gret was able to escape and recover from the stun in time. Shapeshifting, though, does have that core flip available and will likely have to use it very soon in the face of this Dropletto combo that we've been seeing with Gret. But long shot barrier sacrifices the HP bar, but sets it up for the piercing shot from Grimella, sends it right in, and I mean, what's more hype than a reverse sweep?
Nothing. Absolutely nothing is more hype than a reverse sweep, unless it's like a super reverse sweep where like you're down if like a best of 5 or something, 0-2 in sets as well, and then you bring everything back. That'd be pretty hype. I mean, that is just a reverse sweep though. So I mean, still same thing. Nothing more hype than a reverse sweep. But Sundubu coming back here, actually almost taking out the now, but an almost is still an almost, needs to happen and just is not quite able to make work. Dropletto trying to get Grimella off the pitch here yet again for probably the 15th time, as it is incredibly hard to play the Estelle in this game. Looking super low is the Finny using the secondary now on Grimella. Breezy Breezy looking low as well. This might just be the final nail in the Soondubu coffin, but Bozo Bunch need to get this last barrier first as Breezy Breezy pops the recovery drone, almost gets the goal. Breads with the flip saves it for now, but Bozo Bunch finally have an attack ready and they're about to perform it. But as I say that, the Soondubu Strikers come in with the flip and Breezy Breezy manages to find the goal. They even it up at 2-2. The reverse sweep, it could be happening right now, AJ.
Yeah, and I mean, reverse sweep from the bracket reset, that's about as reverse sweepy as you get, so they're doing pretty darn well for themselves on this one, and they're kind of making it look a little bit easy even. These, you know, these last 2 sets have been absolutely brutal, and you want to cover your eyes almost if you're a Soondubu's fan with just the absolute war crimes that Dropletto and Gret have been perpetrating here. But we have just seen a resurgence here, a second wind here, the 2-set comfort zone from the Soondubu Strikers, seemingly really in full swing here as we see just amazing play there. One barrier going down, one barrier being kept alive on their side as well, and that's a now going off the side of the field. And I mean, one of these comps is supposed to be a kill comp, and they lost a player. Power play goes the other way, but great defense from Breads there against Breezy Breezy. Breezy Breezy had almost the full kit there and used so many abilities, but timely strikes, the hook away, finally going to secure that barrier. But Shapeshifting might lose his own on the other side of the field, unfortunately, just a little bit too far forward. But Grimella's now far forward, got set into place, and the Crystal Thorns, kind of an assist there from Gret trying to get the kill, but just sets Estelle up for that rebound. And that is a set over to the Soondubu Strikers. And I mean, it might not be that long of a game, or that long of a match if they're starting to come back in this one.
And take a look here in this draft. Spark of Resilience, and Breezy Breezy does have the Spark of Strength as well. He's going to get a whole lot more tanky if he decides to take it. He does take it away. And now Breezy Breezy with the 2 sparks is going to be feeling extremely comfortable in the stagger department. But that doesn't mean that Grimella is any more safe, rather. So Breezy Breezy probably going to be having to take kind of the brunt of the pressure on this game. Shapeshifting last to pick here. Going to be going for the Adrenaline Rush. Might as well just get the 1 second shorter cooldown. It's definitely not a bad thing, but keep in mind, we did see a 1-2 punch on the now. We did see an extra special, I believe, on the X, and the Among Titans as well on the Finny to just give the X even more power. So the Bozo Bunch kind of got more of what they wanted. It's not going to get any easier for the Soondubu Strikers here, and we're going to need to see them put in an overtime.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of overtime on this one. We were talking about the KO mines earlier, but the core control mines as well, core control farms, we'll call it, also has its own set of rules here. They're trying their best to get the clears, but they're almost getting the kills. I mean, I is very low on HP now all of a sudden, and that's a potential kill angle. Piercing shot and the pendulum, sorry, the death touch, excuse me, gets 2 barriers in the end of that play. Rebound does mean that 1 barrier will fall. Dropletto securing that, but needs to use the X Maximus just for that. Breezy Breezy takes a lot of damage, but he has the recovery drone that's going to get popped there by the core flip from I. Core flip, unfortunate angle there from Shapeshifting, not the perfect, but does get around, buys a little bit of time. Grimella just winning every interaction on the bottom side of the field there. Greedy kill flip from Dropletto, doesn't quite secure it onto the Estelle and ends up just wasting that ability, kind of. Breezy Breezy hooking the now out of the way, but doesn't get the core. I think that's what he might have wanted on that one, actually. Pendulum swing goes forward, and we are in overtime. Red core is all over the place. Core flip forced out. Grimella goes to the bottom. Piercing shot goes wide. but it's not quite in just yet. The Rose Warp as well, back over to Shapeshifting, and the Dropletto angle is just not found, unfortunately for him. Triple Take keeps it forward, but it's not in just yet.
Not in just yet, but it can happen at any point. And just as you say that, Caster Curse, the piercing shot, puts it in. But I think it was going in anyway from the 3Z Breezy angle there on the top side. Well done to the Soondubu Strikers, who feels like they found a second wind, right? They put it into fourth gear, trying to play as fast as possible. I think they all kind of looked at each other and they just said, new strat. Use your abilities on the now, play through the now, make sure the now is extremely uncomfortable because we're not going to be able to stop Dropletto. Might as well just try to get the core away from him as long as possible. But the core is going right to him right now as they're funneling it straight to the X Maximus, who gets one barrier but is unable to get the second. But they're all grouped up now. They're all taking so much damage. But as I say that, so is the now. So anything could happen here. But as I say that, both now, Gramella almost getting taken off the pitch and the barrier getting taken off now. Gramella is setting up the Soondubu power play by getting taken out here, and both flips on Bozo Bunch means that it's surely gonna be a goal here unless there's some heroic, some shape-shifting, and no Iron Wall 33, 3Z Breezy going to be stopping it for now, but they're getting put so low. Dropletto, all he has to do is just spin to win one time, two times, 2 KOs, and now Gramella left alone cannot stop it. Dropletto puts it in to tie it up at 1-1.
Tying it up 1-1, but having to use both of the core flips that were available, so they don't have that energy advantage anymore except on Obscure Breads, so a potential resurgence here as well for Sundubu Strikers. Great save there into the corner from Shape-Shifting, but a kill onto 3Z off rip from Dropletto, and the power play cycle starts once again. We've seen it before, we just saw it, and it's going to be brutal for the Soondubu Strikers unless they can find a way to break this absolutely vicious cycle. But 2 barriers going down, and 3Z Breezy running all the way across, but can they do anything about it?
Can they do anything about it? Bozo Bunch have the open goal. They have basically all the tools that they want. The only thing is they don't have the damage racked up, so Sundubu do have some time to play and maybe get these 2 goal awakenings, or sorry, goal barriers, but it's not going to matter when Dropletto just pops the X Maximus right in your face. No energy to do anything about it, and now I'm extremely worried. A little bit of BM there. Dropletto to Gramella. He's getting hyped in the corner over there. I can just tell that the tensions are a little high between these 2 teams right now.
Just a little bit, but also, I mean, we've seen the Soondubu Strikers down 2 points before, so could just be a 2-point comfort zone angle. Obscure Bread's kind of letting that barrier go down, unfortunately. Maybe miscommunication or something, but 1 barrier going down now, very low on HP. X Maximus pop, core flip as well. Not too many abilities left in this play, so it's about to flip over, but the big finish is enough for the big finish as the bell ringer with the support puts it through. And that is game 1 of the bracket reset. Over to the Bozo Bunch, potentially shutting down this play from the Soondubu Strikers.
Let's not get too hasty now. It is going to be Oni Village next time, which last set was a 3-0 against. It felt like a long series because it was, you know, Oni Village, and the games just feel long. The points feel incredibly long, but it is going to be the Soondubu Oni Village coming in for the next map. So still hard for the Bozo Bunch. They still are going to need to put in the extra time, the overwork, to try to get through them on their home comfort map. Soondubu, I don't think, are too worried right now, but definitely the nerves are starting to get a little bit higher. Let's take a look at the stats here. We're seeing I putting in overtime right now, 279 redirects. The closest next one was 65 away, with Gramella being at 214. So well played to I for that kind of midfield performance there. Although 41 saves on Gramella, so I guess if you count that, they're pretty even. And then Obscure Breads and Shapeshifting actually have pretty even amount of strikes and, redirects and saves. 3Z Breezy and Dropletto, you know, both putting in a lot of work, but Dropletto with the 9 gills, I mean, hard to beat that.
Mm-hmm. And obviously, I mean, you skipped over the most important stat, Obscure Breads with 27 orbs. Obviously, the most important thing.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, the most important is probably the damage in the KOs. 7 KOs on Dropletto with 55,000 damage in a Taiko Temple game, which is not normal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wouldn't say any of this is normal, though. We're in the middle of a bracket reset at a LAN.
That's true.
That is
in the West Coast.
Kind of going a little bit insane here, but definitely in a good way, as these teams are really pulling out everything they have. And the Strikers here, the DUBU Strikers, I should specify, they are going to Oni Village. We've just seen them, and it's kind of their realm, Soondubu Village, as it were. And it's going to be pretty exciting going into that. We're going to start with the draft here. Not the best start with that specialized training chrono boost, but that definitely is about to be an Octavia ban in approximately 5 seconds.
That's what I was about to say. I was about to say just that. That is going to be an Octavia ban against the Bozo Bunch at any point here. since especially they have the first pick too. So it's not even like Soondubu can deny it away from them. Bozo Bunch actually banning the Kazan here with the specialized training start. So a little bit interesting. We haven't seen the Kazan being played at all for 3Z Breezy, I'm pretty sure, this entire tournament. Maybe he played it once, and I don't remember, in like pools or something. But he's pretty much just been spamming Rasmus and Julie and Asher as well. Those kind of picks. And there it is, the Octavia ban going away. I mean, you can't let... I have Octavia right now. There's no way. Not with these stakes.
Actually, I have insight on the Kazan ban, actually.
Okay.
I listened in to a lot of discussion from a lot of teams, and the consensus seems to be that Kazan is really, really good against Obscure Bread's goalie pool.
I actually agree with that. As someone who plays Kazan, and when Obscure Breads was playing, I played a lot of Kazan into him all the time. I really enjoyed playing that pick into that kind of goalie pool, the ranged goalies who tend to favor one side of the map, and if they try to clear it away from you, you can just hook it right back. Then, especially if it's in overtime, just red cord in the bottom side or something. It's definitely a good matchup, as we see pretty much kind of the same things, except there's a difference here. The Bozo Bunch are going to be picking away the Estelle here. A little bit different. Definitely can play it, but it's not known for their Estelle whatsoever, and it's going to be the Rasmus and the Kai with Chrono Boost starting away right now for the Soondubu Strikers. I mean, no Estelle, but Grimella is definitely still more than capable on the Kai.
Oh yeah, I'd honestly go out on a limb here and say that any of these players are just about more than capable on any character, even the ones they really haven't played at all. They have enough just fundamental game knowledge that if you just set them on a character that has nothing but move and strike, they can probably still beat most of us.
Yeah, probably. Well, hey.
At least me.
Hey.
You're different.
You're talking to
Borg
a
is built
top 6
different.
finisher
Yeah.
here.
Built different, but I am not built different, unfortunately. So I am a mere mortal here among the gods themselves. But definitely going to be exciting to see this going forward. But again, we see that drop Leto on the Julie with the Now as well. So we might be seeing a very similar comp to the first run around here, which is a bit of an interesting one because normally, well, then again, you did say they did steal away the Estelle, so maybe they thought the Estelle was the linchpin of the whole thing, so if they steal that away, they can run the same for the most of the rest of it.
I'm pretty sure it's actually just the same thing as the last Oni Village, except they swap midfielders. I'm pretty sure that's actually exactly what's going on here. The Brawlers are the same, Drepletto on the Julie, Breezy on... Yep, it's exactly the same with the Now goalie as well. So, difference being here is it actually is going to be a Chrono Boost start, so the Kai is going to be a lot stronger right off the bat, which is something that I was lacking in the game for them on the Oni Village here, and Grimella is going to be very happy to pick that one up. The Spec Clash training on the Julie and the Rasmus here, actually Rasmus is probably going to take the Chrono Boost, but on the Julie here especially is actually something to take advantage of. If someone is playing on the wall, that Spec training ult is going to absolutely annihilate them, and as we're seeing right here, it's Chrono Boost for absolutely everybody, except for Drepletto, who, as we were just talking about, has that specialized training. So here we go, 5 seconds in on to Oni Village, map 2 on the bracket reset. Can the Bozo Bunch clinch their victory right now, or is Soondubu Strikers going to take it to a Game 3 on the bracket reset? We'll have to find out.
We will find out, but the other thing is that 3Z Breezy might not be used to playing on the Rasmus here because he was on the Asher last time. He was on the Rasmus in this last game.
Oh, was he? Okay.
But that tankiness from the Asher and the size as well is just a bit of a different playstyle from the Rasmus. Similar, but crucially different in some ways. And so Drop Leto, they're going to be getting the punch there to get that second barrier. And, I mean, you're just talking about it. Juliet's ultimate is pretty darn good. You have the extra damage. Wasn't necessarily there, but just having it up and using it in that perfect position to get it right through. But high spirits there. We saw shape-shifting with the Blobbo cheers, Blobbo happy there. I mean, at this point in time, they are playing for first. They're playing for the prize. Kill flip from the Now as well. I was going to start taking, some nice happy things. They're just playing to have fun. The prizes are cool, but fun is also cool. But never mind. It's blood. No fun allowed. Just kill each other.
Just kill each other, but the power play not really going to amount to much here as the Sundubu Strikers, especially 3Z Breezy, just controlling the core the entire time and getting some extra credit barrier at the end of it. Has a flip here, looking for an opportunity to use it, but not going to waste it quite yet. As I say that, a little bit of Caster Curse gets hit away by one of the many projectiles that Obscure Breads is going to be throwing at that core at all times of the game. And that's something to talk about too, is that actually, I take back what I said before. This is not even close to basically a mirror with swap midfielders. As you said, obviously the Asher, 3Z Breezy was on that. I just remember seeing 3Z on the Rasmus before. But it's actually Obscure Breads not on the Now. It's on the Estelle, which is similar to the Now in playstyle, how you're kind of trying to zone off things with your abilities, but has a lot more range. And so it's going to be really, really hard for 3Z and Grimella to mount an attack when you just have a piercing shot into a Rose Warp, into a Crystal Thorns, just on and on and on, while there's a Juliet and a Now on top of you, just being incredibly annoying. So this is definitely a better go-around here, I'd say, for the Bozo Bunch on their Oni Village comp, and I think they have a much better chance to win it as, ooh, the barrier just barely almost goes down, but not quite, as Breads loses it in the end, but has the flip, so not too worried about his eye. Drops the flip and gets denied by Grimella. Grimella now looking for the play here on his own, but no, going to be denied by the flip on Obscure Breads, but Grimella has the flip in the goal box. Will he use it? No, Dropletto gets denied away, and Grimella gets killed by the dash punch from Dropletto, and now it's a Bozo Bunch power play.
Power play they're going for. They're trying to get the goal here, but it's defused. Breezy Breezy playing all offense, saying, pedal to the metal, I don't care. We're either going to lose this or we're going to win in style. But now Grimella's back on the field. The time bought by that aggression was amazing. Breezy Breezy with the game knowledge just to let that happen. Amazing on his part there. Strike shot whiffs, but that doesn't go in the end. Breezy Breezy trying to set up the angle with this core flip, trying to hook them out of the way or do some fancy plays with the core, and actually completely psychs them out. Sees the now teleport to the top, and you know, as you're thinking, oh, you know, I don't need to defend here. I'm going up there to prevent them from going there. He's not going to send it here. But again, bell curve. We're talking about it all day. Shoot it at the goalie. It's just going to work.
Hey, shoot it in that top side. A little bit of patience there from Breezy Breezy. He's definitely known for those flip shots. He's very, very good at it, very patient at it. He's also very good at this Rasmus character, getting both barriers immediately, shapeshifting, having to use the flip to secure his second one for the long term. And Soondubu now sitting pretty against the Bozo Bunch here, who been on a bit of a tear, but Soondubu, known for this Oni Village, as we've been talking about again and again. Can they calm things down? Can they bring it back? And Breezy Breezy is going to start it off with an amazing death touch into a shot on the bottom side. Breezy Breezy does not want to lose. He wants to win his map pick here, rather, and go to a Game 3 onto the Atlas Lab.
Yeah, I mean, it was an amazing checkmate there from Breezy. You're trying to clear it into the corner as that Estelle, keep it away from them, but he put the hook there ahead of time, saying, you either really have to push it through me or find some really weird angle, but if you want to clear it the way you're used to clearing it, it's not going to work out. You're not going to be able to ego check me on this one. Breezy Breezy, the one to checkmate and ego check you instead. Hook as well denied that time by Gret, who is aware of that hook this time. Not going to be able to get the same trick twice in a row. These players a little too good for that most of the time, although we've seen some nerves here and there, some missed core flips, some things like that. The Giga Blast as well, going a little bit wide. And as well, Dropletto trying to beat up Oki, the goalie there. Ooh, nice stall there. The dash into core flip into strike just to stall it out so that the goalie wastes strike. But Grimella trying to push it with the barrage, misses unfortunately there, but Grimella does have the core flip if Grimella can get across the field there. Dribbling down the bottom, Rose Warp up, pass up to Threezy, who uses the hook, tries to get it forward, pendulum swing, and it's going to go in. And the Soondubu Strikers on their map, of course, no surprise, takes set one. But it's going to be an interesting thing seeing how the teams scale and what awakenings are actually picked up here.
And it seemed a little bit closer this time, I think. Bozo Bunch, you know, the points definitely a lot quicker, but I think Bozo Bunch getting the barriers quicker. It's a lot more explosive this time around. Bozo Bunch have a lot more tools in the toolkit in order to kind of get these goals, get these barriers. And I think that point could have gone on for a lot longer if Breads kind of forestalled that pendulum swing and used the flip earlier, but sometimes that's just not what happens as the Among Titans getting taken now for Obscure Bread, which I think is going to be huge in terms of getting your Juliet on the right track. And another thing on the right track, we're going to have size on both sides for the Brawlers, but the spark for Grimella going to be starting early, gets the first win, which means you have a lot more time to scale in this game. You only need to win 2, Bozo Bunch need to win 3, so you have a lot of time to be gathering these sparks, to be getting this speed, and just stay in the play, basically, as the Kai, which is all really your job is.
Yeah, and I mean, you're talking about the speed. It is that spark of agility, so it's probably, arguably, one of the best ones to pick up on this map on Kai. You can make an argument for just about any of them, but I would say it's probably the speed. But we're going for some more cycles around the map here. That secondary from shapeshifting, is going to mean that there's a lot of speed and size on the team there. But Rose Warp from Breads playing a little bit of forward there, dabbling in it, and actually managed to get that second barrier, making it not a lockout here. But a bit of an awkward pendulum swing there, but it sets it up for a great downtown primary from shapeshifting. Dash punch as well from Dropletto, not perfect. Grimella and Threezy trying to spread out a little bit, and Snare Drums goes a little wide. The pendulum swing just kind of passes it over to the Estelle. The strike shot from shapeshifting is enough. Piercing shot, arrow, dribbles it up at the top. Grimella and Threezy Breeze are standing on top of each other a little bit, unfortunately. Don't have the pass angles that they might be looking for. Pass not intercepted. Dash punch, though, countered by a great core flip out of shapeshifting. Gret being countered by the barrage after countering the Death's touch there. Just counter after counter. These players are in each other's heads playing chess, not Omega Strikers here. and they're just trying to counter what the other one is doing. They know what the optimum play is, so sometimes you have to do some funky stuff to get it through. The primaries from downtown, not perfect at this time. Again, they're aware of it. You can't do the same trick more than twice in a row, excuse me. But they're trying to pass it back and forth. Goes up to 3Z in the corner, but the arrow is going to shut down that play.
Yeah, shutting down the plays for now, but there's so many plays going on as Obscure Breads with the flip going to be denying the goal, and Dropletto playing screen here, just blocking, shape-shifting out from his own net. Breads just found the shot as well. What a great awareness play, I guess, from Obscure Breads and Dropletto. And I mean, that's so brave of Dropletto as a Julie to just say, hey, I believe in my midfielder, my goalie to defend this insane push with the core flip from Grimella as well that he could have used later on in that push. Dropletto said, nah, screw it. I'm just going to hit shape-shifting, make sure he can't give them speed, make sure that I can box him out if the core comes back to me, and get this goal, which comes right back to him. But sadly for the Bozo Bunch, they lose both their barriers immediately, basically in this point, getting one back for sure. But that's kind of the freebie, as shape-shifting is guarding the top one with his life, and pretty healthy life, I would say, instead. Full health, full energy, has that core flip as well. It's going to be incredibly hard, but Dropletto has that core flip as well, but does not want to use that shape-shifting pops it first to just defend that barrier for now. And Soondubu Strikers are just playing so careful. They don't want to throw away anything right now.
Yeah, but it's also one of those things, sometimes the playing careful is not what you need. Sometimes you need a burst to get through, and the core flip is going to do it. Even with the arrow stun, he just struck the core to send it in. The arrow hit him because he broke the evasion there. But doesn't matter, the goal is already in. Again, kill me all you want, you can't unscore the goal, and I'm right back in the next round.
Right back in the next round, he is 3Z Breezy rather, and Grimella, both level 6, kind of chilling, both playing with the core just as much. Something different here is Dropletto's actually level 4 right now, has not touched the core very much. It's pretty much just been all Breads and I doing the heavy lifting here. Dropletto just coming in clutch in the end for certain plays, and maybe he can come in clutch here with this flip here, and the dash punch not got to quite do it. The ultimate going to almost be killing shapeshifting with that specialized training, and now with the flip here, gonna be getting the barrier. No, denied. I don't know by who, but one of the 3 members of the Sundubu Strikers who, in sync, all come back to help out their goalie, who is just getting absolutely beat up right now, but can't help him enough as he gets taken out by the dash punch on Dropletto. And now, no dash punch for the goal here, but they do have core control. They do have the power play, but 3Z Breezy doing God's work and just clearing it for now to buy time for shapeshifting to come back again and ruining the Bozo Bunch power play without actually managing to pretty much get anything.
Yeah, and I mean, 3Z Breezy also picks up the orb on the back of that, so the health crisis is a little bit averted there. We do have the pass, the dribble down from Gret there, the piercing shot as well. 3Z Breezy not quite lining up the pendulum swing, a little bit too small for that one. Doesn't have all the size awakenings that you might want to get. But we do see a lot more passing play back and forth and interceptions as well on both sides. Grimella almost dying on the bottom of this map, but it's not quite going to be a death just yet. But Gret does have the core flip, gonna use it immediately. Arrow into the Kai, not getting killed. Back pass to Breads, forward pass back, just buying a little bit of time. Rose Warp forced out there. If that's going to be Kai finally dying to Dropletto there while they're buying that time. Strike shot from shapeshifting.
Ooh.
Kill combo with the flip from Dropletto, letting it in. And you're talking earlier about Dropletto is just so good about setting up these plays by just focusing on the goalie, the kind of Oki strat there, but kind of more surgical even than the Oki, where instead of only focusing on the goalie, you a lot of the time save the abilities, or maybe it's just luck, but having those abilities at the end to just, when it's necessary, send everything in on the goalie, get it done. Don't worry about the meantime, just focus on that one single moment when you need to come in and come through for your team.
Remember when I said when Dropletto was level 4? Well, after that 1 point, he is now level 7 after getting 2 KOs, both barriers, I believe, or at least one of the barriers, and the goal. So, hey, that's Omega Strikers for you folks. Welcome to the XP in this game. So, Dropletto's sitting pretty now at the level 7, I on the level 9, pretty much outperforming almost everybody in this game right now, doing so much legwork. I'm curious to see the redirects at the end of this game. But first, they need to win the first set. We're not even in the 3rd set. We're in the 2nd one still, as these points are going so incredibly long, and there's so much happening in them. 3Z Breezy now 1-1 against Obscure Breads, his old teammate, going to be going through and winning that one for now. And Grimella now with the flip, trying to find this bottom corner shot. Maybe no, wasting it away as a great defense from the Bozo Bunch, going to be denying them for now. And now it's Bozo Bunch's turn. They're trying to get a KO onto 3Z Breezy, but he has the evades, he has the time, and he has the orbs to stay healthy. Shapeshifting now in the backside of his own net. Pass it to Grimella, who's trying to set up an offense against this Obscure Breads, who has been playing so incredibly well on this Estelle, on offense and on defense. But right now, he's just getting so much pressure from the Soondubu Strikers.
Yeah, so much pressure here. We even have the Rosewolf forced out. The Death Touch comes through up to the top. The Pendulum Swing isn't perfect here. These plays are so close to perfection, but they're off by just a millimeter at the end. You have to switch over to metric units, use that scientific stuff because it is such a narrow margin here. But in the end, that margin comes through with the cooldowns, just having the positioning, having the cooldowns available to put it through. But when it's a lot of these plays that are just so back and forth where everyone's grouped up, you really have to have the perfect setup, Death Touch into Pendulum Swing, not a single degree off on the angle, not a single miscalculation on the size you have, because these players are just too good to fall for the simple stuff in 99% of the time.
The player's just too good, and the play's just too good, as the defense from the Soondubu Strikers is almost clinical. Seems like they've done this before, defending that last barrier with everything that they got and getting the extra top barrier as well, which doesn't really matter too much for the Bozo Bunch here. Now Bozo Bunch still on the attack over and over again. The Estelle keeping it forward for as long as possible. Soondubu Strikers need to actually get a clear. They can defend for forever, but they're not going to be able to do anything unless they can get it out on to the opposite side of the pitch. And here we go. 3Z Breezy and Grimella trying to do something with it, but Dropletto has that Juliet ultimate to keep them in check for now. The Mine with the flip, going to be holding things for now. 3Z Breezy with the flip, trying to do something with it, but no, gets dash punched by Dropletto away. And now the Barrage on the bottom side trying to get it, but no, the defense from Bozo Bunch back at it on the other side is also insane. Both teams are dialed in right now.
They are dialed in, they are locked in, they are doing everything they can. With the core flip comes out, we are now in overtime. And by the way, this is a 0.5, so whoever gets this gets the set. Gret going down to the bottom, dash punch, Shaolin kick from the side comes through. 3Z Breezy with the dribble into the goal! And that's another 5th point going the way of the Soondubu Strikers on this very long journey into the potential first place slot. One more set and they are one game away, tying it up 1-1 on the bracket reset, but they do have to get this final thing through, and that is not what you want to see, because that is all of the sparks available, so you're not going to get any in the later drafts if there are later ones. But if you win it here, not too bad. Spark of Focus being available, of course, with that Spark of Agility, one of the best combos on Kai.
One of the best combos on Kai for sure, and probably the 2 sparks that really only matter on this Oni Village map. Not too many kills going through unless, someone makes a pretty big mistake on the edge. It's actually going to be shape-shifting. Just, might as well just get a little bit of that spark of strength here at the end. But the biggest thing here for me is actually Dropletto getting that stagger swagger. Dropletto getting just that little bit more speed to get involved a little easier, because I feel like Dropletto has had a hard time getting involved when the core isn't just escorted to him. And with the speed now and the cooldown from Grimella, and now 3Z Breezy getting a little bit more unlocked with that rapid fire as well, it's going to be a lot harder for Dropletto to get involved if he, didn't get that stagger swagger. So we'll see how much this gets into play here first. Sundubu kind of starting us off with those double barriers, but Bozo Bunch definitely still have a lot of room to play, as the offense from 3Z Breezy and Grimella going to be superior. They have so much speed with the Mako speed in the back, boosting them up, and 3Z Breezy puts it in on the bottom side on a 28-second point. I mean, they want to end this now.
28 seconds might be one of the fastest we've had all series, which is ridiculous to say, but sometimes it just goes that way. These teams are very evenly matched here, and I mean, that's what you want to see from the grand finals. You want to see the best teams going at it in the best way, and I mean, it's kind of tragic that so many other teams had to fall for that to happen, but I am glad that we got these teams in this final to see them really duke it out, because again, like you were saying, these are some of the best teams that have some very similar pools that they're playing with, so we really get to see some of the best teams, not just them at a sort of middling counter-picked band, but at their absolute best, going for cycles around Oni Village, trying to just checkmate the opponents and out-mind game them in so many cases. 3Z Breezy going to whiff the hook there, unfortunately not getting too much of a connection there. Gigablast goes through, and going to be the secondary from Rasmus to get it through as well, not using the core flip there to try and secure the goal, just going to opt to save it for a little bit longer. Goes for trying to strike it up to the top, but they're just not committed to using this core flip, and it might bite them in the back here, as a lot of damage goes onto 3Z, and he might have to use the core flip purely defensively and just kind of waste it.
Might need to use it defensively, might need to stay alive, but 3Z Breezy with his movement is doing a really good job so far. Uses the core flip, tries to get the shot, but not going to find it so far, but still gets the orb, still going to be safe for now. Shapeshifting and Grimella looking pretty good in the back court with that one barrier still up. It's going to be a lot of work for Dropletto and I to get this last barrier through this Mako with the flip, but 3Z Breezy going down is going to make that a whole lot easier, as the Bozo Bunch are now on a power play.
but this red core speed is doing so many favors here for the Strikers as they are just able to send the core to dead space so easily. Counterflip, though, does mean the barrier goes down, but it took them the entire power play just to get the one barrier, so it really only evened up the score. The Giga Blast countered by Crystal Thorns as well, so a bit more evening of the cooldowns there. Pass, though, intercepted at the end by Shapeshifting, who's just so rock solid in this defense, aware of all the angles that the Bozo Bunch are trying to go for and trying to get through, but the pendulum swings are just not perfect there. But the secondary is 3Z Breezy putting it in and taking them 1 goal away from Game 3.
That just shows you how fast these characters are on the side of the Soondubu Strikers, with Mako speeding you up, and with Chrono Boost, 3Z Breezy on the Rasmus just speeding so fast in front of everybody in order to get to the position where they're getting that goal. Just basically putting Obscure off guard. That's why he didn't flip there. He didn't think that 3Z would reach there in time. He tried to throw out the Crystal Thorns instead, but got caught in the animation. But one thing is going to happen right now is that Dropletto catching Soondubu Strikers off guard, getting both those barriers early on, but uses the flip for nothing as 3Z Breezy and Grimella now are on the offense, and they're trying to end this game right now, but not if Bozo Bunch have anything to say about it. They have a barrier left, they have an offense, they're trying to run something, but I now is actually the one in trouble, pops the flip, trying to go for something to drop. Leto dash punch, actually putting Grimella in the back of his own net, opening up the angle for the shot for I and Dropletto to put that one in, and oh, are we having another reverse sweep? I can't take another reverse sweep.
We might get another one. It might be the beginning. If it is, it starts here. It has to start here for them. But this would be a victory overall if they do reverse sweep this game. Otherwise, it's back to Game 3, or really Game 5, as it were. But we're going to trade another barrier for another barrier. It's back to Oni Village shenanigans here. At least no 20-second point there. It's going to go a little bit longer. Grimella going up to Dropletto there. Not quite finding the perfect cut angle back to the goalie on that one. Secondary from Rasmus into a dribble, but gets caught by the Now. But we have another flurry from the Juliet and the arrow from the Now. 3Z Breezy as well, taking a ton of damage off the back of that. Going to retreat for the goalie orb and core flip as well with that in addition to the health. So that's a really nice pickup there too. Dash punch doesn't go all the way through, just through Grimella, but shapeshifting is there. One barrier goes down to the core flip. 3Z trying to find the second with pendulum swing, but it's core flipped, countered by Breads as well on the other side of the map. Really good there, but the Giga from Grimella able to find Gret on the bottom of the map. They're a little bit too close to the edge, but can they do anything with power play? Core flip forced out of Grimella, goes all the way around. They just cannot get this angle, and now Gret is back on the field, not even getting the barrier out of that, and that is so unfortunate for the Soondubu Strikers, who might have to play a lot more game here if the Bozo Bunch can lock this out.
Yeah, as long as you have a barrier up, even on you know, a power play, or getting power played on, if that makes sense, you lost your member, you still have a good shot at staying calm and staying relaxed. Those barriers are so hard to take, but 3Z Breezy showing us how it's done with the pendulum swing on that top side, taking the barrier, now winning the strike war against Dropletto, trying to find a death touch here and a pendulum swing, but no, Obscure Breads is going to deny it away, and now the offense for the Bozo Bunch coming in here. Shapeshifting still has the flip, so it's going to be hard to break through it. Can they do it? It's going to be slow for now, as I almost has the flip as well. This is going to get explosive at any point here, AJ, as the point with the flip going in for the Now, the pass up to there, but no, nothing's happening. Breads staying far back, does not want to get scored on at any time soon. Shapeshifting now does not have the flip, so both teams have the play to do something, but the Rose Warp going to save it for now. Grimella is incredibly low. They can find the KO maybe, but no, they're missing the punch. They can't get anything as the nerves are running high. The tensions are going high. The save from Obscure Breads, who now has the flip yet again, has to pop it. Dropletto gets the KO. Shapeshifting with the Mako cage, holding it for now. 3Z Breezy with the heroic flip in the bottom corner. Gonna secure it and tie us up 1-1 in the series. We're going to a Game 3 on the bracket reset. I can't believe this.
That we are. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a saying in the community, I believe it was, brawlers get it done.
Hey,
and I think they're getting it done.
The guy who says brawlers get it done just got it done, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to a Game 3. 3-0 in Oni Village. I mean, Sundubu showing us why they picked the map. 2 times in a row, just absolutely popping off.
3Z Breezy showing it what a breeze it is to go to the threes. That third game in the set, and I mean, what a game. I mean, I don't think we've seen a single person with double-digit redirects, even a brawler, in any of these games today, so it's been pretty insane.
Yeah, I mean, incredibly long games. I mean, that's kind of how these teams work, though. They play that long con. They play these long games. They try to look like you were talking about earlier, these little gains, right? The inches matter. Just that 1 second where you have a cooldown up, and they just are a second off their cooldown where you can make a play. And both these teams love this style. And when you see this style clash head-to-head, we're going to be getting these incredibly tense, incredibly hype sets. as we see now the stats of this game. 312 redirects on I there on the Now, who's putting in a lot of work, but it sadly was just not enough for the Bozo Bunch, as Dropletto kind of evening things out with only 155 redirects, and 3ZBreezy and Grimella pretty similar with around 250 each apiece. But 3ZBreezy actually getting 9 goals, doing not everything himself, but in terms of the offense, pretty much everything himself.
Yeah, and kind of a flip as well. Earlier we were talking about, Grimella at the very least at the beginning taking those early leads, but, moving from the Estelle to the Kai, playing a lot more supportively and a lot more on the setup side of things than the securing side of the things. We see that switch instantly flipped, and Grimella was able to switch that playstyle, which is not something a lot of people can do, and it is something that is really amazing to see. And amazing to see as well, we're going to see... Can you guess what the first ban was against the Bozo Bunch?
I mean, it's cast to last start. We keep getting these Octavia starts, so you might as well just keep banning it, right? And one thing that I'm curious, though, it is Atlas Lab this time, and I don't think we're going to see it this time since Bozo Bunch banning the Asher now, but, I mean, Soondubu loves... At least 3ZBreezy loves the Luna. I don't think we'll be seeing that, at least with this start. I don't think we'll be seeing it, but maybe we'll be getting like a Zentaro or a Kazan or something a little bit more explosive, as it is the Atlas Lab, as, a little bit more damage heavy, a little bit more, I guess, faster paced, rather. And we're going to be seeing the now first pick for the Soondubu Strikers. Bozo Bunch taking their time with the 2-3 here. Not really sure what we're going to be seeing, but probably similar things. It's going to be the Estelle, actually, again, probably for Obscure Breads here in the goal box. And, yeah, I mean, I think we're probably going to be seeing probably similar stuff. Maybe, like, I don't know, an Amy at the very most is, like, the craziest thing I'm thinking of, but I can't think of anything else that'd be crazy that we're seeing for the Bozo Bunch here.
Yeah, there's a lot of ways to go about it, and, I mean, it's one of those things where whether win or lose... Whichever team wins or loses, this is the last game. We've been through the bracket reset. We've played out 2 games of the best of 3. This is it. Whoever wins this game is going to be the LAN champion for the crown. And until the next S tier tournament, the undisputed best team. And so you might see a lot of safety coming out, but you also might see the teams err on the side of a little bit of recklessness to just go through that, and it can really go either way. But we do see this sort of Estelle Julie coming out. We see the Rasmus Atlas coming out. We see the Kai coming out. So rather than being that explosive Zentaro or Luna that you were maybe talking about, we see the tried, we see the true, we see what works, which means that we're going to see a game that probably goes to a lot more .5s and a lot more overtimes, which I'm here for. TOs might be in shambles. Again, apologize to them, but it is at the very least going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, I mean, these players are trying to get us kicked out of the venue. We're going so late now. I mean, hey, we'll have to see. Maybe the lights will turn off mid-game, but it's not that late going in on the West Coast here. I think it's, like 7:30 or something. So we still got plenty of time for Omega Strikers, plenty of time for this last game. Everybody is itching for it as the comps are fully revealed now. It's pretty much going to be the same kind of thing as usual. We're going to be seeing the Kai midfield with the Estelle goalie and the Julie forward, kind of just similar style to the Bozo Bunch on how they like to play. Sticking to their guns, sticking to their basics, nothing crazy going in here for the Bozo Bunch. And same thing on the Soondubu Strikers, that now Atlas going to be providing the whole backbone for 3ZBreezy to cook like he did last game on this Rasmus. Let's get into the game here, AJ.
Yeah. I mean, we saw for a second there in the Champ Select, every time 3ZBreezy, he has the Luna as his hover pick, and I see that Luna, I'm just like, yes! And I'm like, wait, no. We're not going to go for the absolutely insane Luna. I'm a fan of the Luna forward because I like the off-meta weird stuff. It's becoming a little bit more meta, but it's definitely a lot more glass cannon-y, which sometimes we've been seeing, and we've been seeing a lot of the times 3ZBreezy in these sort of cornered positions just goes on the offense, lashing out, saying that it doesn't matter what happens, I will be the one to carry this, I will keep the aggression going, and it's paid off dividends so many times over and over again. Dash punt, though, missing from Dropletto there. One barrier, the first going down, the second, though, soon to follow. Again, these teams are even. They are going tit for tat. They are going absolutely dead even there. One barrier, though, going for the side. A slight lead for now, but let's see how the play flips on the backside of the play.
Yeah, we'll see how any counter offense, rather, for the Bozo Bunch can come in here, but no counter offense when you have a 3ZBreezy Rasmus in your face doing absolutely everything. And I have a feeling, based on the map here on Atlas Lab, we're going to be seeing similar gameplay, but way faster for us here, AJ. Way faster.
Might be just a little bit faster than Oni Village here, especially with that black hole in the middle to accelerate things around. and of course the reverberation as well for those cooldowns is going to be accelerating the game again and again and again. 3Z Breezy trying to get it through the bottom in the corner here. Arrow kind of pointed a little bit backwards there, but did just go around, so it ended up being, you know, ends up fizzling out without doing too much there. Droplet a little close to the edge there, almost getting pendulum swing, but knows his distance pretty darn well. Isn't going to get caught out by just that. Might even just be baiting 3Z a little bit with it. But shape-shifting, strike shot, astral projection, counters the piercing shot, gets it forward, but Grimella not using the core flip there in the midfield, just going to opt to lose that first barrier. And honestly, not a bad trade, because that first barrier, sometimes it just makes it even harder to defend against the double barrier.
100%. There's a lot of situations where, especially if the brawler on the other team, or the forwards rather on the other team, can get it in the middle of the two barriers, it's a lot harder to defend because you don't have that entire side to play with, right? So just actually one strat that I used to do with my team is we take our own first barrier sometimes, just so we could play it like a lot easier on the defensive side later, and easier. Gramella's making it look with that core flip on the top side. Breads got completely caught off guard with the angle that was heading, just sends it right through him. 2-0 for Soondubu quickly into this first game, not even seeing an overtime yet.
Yeah, I mean, just absolutely threading the needle there. A little red laser beam straight towards the enemy goal and just right in there. No airing there, nothing at all. Unfortunate shapeshifting doesn't quite get the angle there. Gets the core flip, though, to make things happen. Piercing shot keeps the rebound from being caught by 3Z Breezy. The Rose Warp also goes to the bottom. The Astral Projection comes out. The Flurry from Juliet, not quite enough. Their Black Hole's coming up. Gonna maybe do a little bit of damage, but they get away from it. A little bit of friendly fire there. Grimella into 3Z Breezy using the Black Hole there, unfortunately. But does clear it out, gets the Black Hole out of the way for some of the aggressive plays that they're looking for here. Very low on HP, but not going to be killed just yet. We see this corner play from the Rasmus, well known for sort of stuffing from these corners, but not able to get the connection just yet with Gret running this interference.
Gret just making sure nothing can happen here. The Kai very, very useful on the defense as well, and offense trying to be useful, but the Barrage not going to be doing too much of shape-shifting, feeling comfy in that bottom side on the Atlas here with that reverberation cooldown. So Obscure Breads now on the chopping block, needs to defend this barrier and is doing well so far as, the bottom side of Grimella here. Not quite able to find too many real attempts as 3Z Breezy just trying to heal up. But the great job from Breads. The Crystal Thorns from the opposite side going to be getting that last barrier, and the Black Hole in the middle going to be taking out 3Z Breezy. This is Bozo Bunch's chance to get a point in this set and to start the road of evening this one up and the long road of winning this game. And that's what they're going to do. Drop Leto with the power play and the dash punch, getting it right through shape-shifting. The dribbles were perfect to bait out the abilities, and well done to Drop Leto for keeping them in this game.
Yeah, well done indeed there. Taking the first goal is such a mental boon there, especially when you've been going so even, you've been playing for so long. It just sort of resets you and says, you know what, it is possible. This isn't insurmountable. We can do this. Even if sometimes it doesn't look like it, you can reflect on that score. But great Giga from Gret. Again, I've been saying that all day long, but he is absolutely killer with these. And so it's just really good to see them on that pick. Shapeshifting gets the core flip from that little corner dribble. Not going to use it just yet, but might have to use it soon depending on how this goes. Black Hole going to get popped by 3Z, taking a ton of damage off of Gret and Julie both. 3Z Breezy going up with the secondary, not going to find it. Grimella not on the rebound either. Astral Projection gets it forward. Core flip out of Gret, down to the bottom. Strike shot from Shapeshifting gets it forward, but not too far forward. The Drop Leto gets the rebound, trying to strike war. 3Z here uses the Flurry, and not quite into the goal. They're trying to set it up. Core flip used by Shapeshifting. Black Hole dribble as well from Gret. Arrow from Grimella. Strike shot from Obscure Breads. The hook from 3Z, not quite enough to get it.
Not quite enough to get it, but we're still in play here. Drop Leto rather has that core flip, and he has the core on offense right now. Can he do something with it? Not quite, as it gets hit away from him, and the Kai now has to take charge here, who getting a little bit of energy on his own, about halfway there to the flip. But right now, just all eyes on Drop Leto for me. Can he use this flip to score? He's in the corner now. He gets the shot on the top side, but a great secondary on the Atlas on Shapeshifting to keep it away for now. Back to basics. We got to figure out an offense here for Bozo Bunch, because 3Z Breezy and Grimella are looking incredibly scary with these flips. First one going down, saved by Obscure Breads. The Kai comes back to help out, and now 3Z Breezy has a flip. He's on the goal line. Can he do something with it? Yes, he can. He finds the angle on the top side. 3-1 is the first set going the way of the Soondubu Strikers.
Going their way like the bracket reset has been going. They started again. Remember, this was started with a 2-0 sweep in the beginning before the bracket reset to lead to the reset itself. And there are so many good things in this draft. Perfect form, even going the way of Atlas. I'm personally a big fan of that ability. Twin Drive also not too bad. They're going to be picked up. And, I mean, stacks on stacks going the way of the Kai. Not too bad, but if you can kill him, that can be a bit of a liability as well.
Yeah, definitely going to be a point of focus possibly for this game. Not quite sure if the Kai is going to be that killable in general, unless, I say this now, unless the Juliet takes prize fighter. Dropletto trying to get some power this game, trying to show everyone who's boss and put some focus on this game, right? So now we have the Kai running around, and Dropletto going to be trying to run interference with the dash punches, but on the same page, kind of. Breezy gets more cooldown, right? He has that prime time, he has that reverberation, he has a lot of tools to play with, and he's been doing so well with those tools thus far. So all eyes kind of on the brawlers for me this game, if they can start to get it done.
Yeah, if they can, and even finish getting it done, rather, at this point, with just how insane this series has been. One of the series of the ages, surely one to watch later if you miss it or if you didn't catch the entire thing. But it's going to go down to this bottom corner again. 3Z with Pendulum Swing, just kind of a feint there. A bit of a mind game, and actually Grimella winning a crucial strike ward to get the second barrier too. Healing 3Z as well, and like you were saying, it is the backbone for 3Z here. They're trying to keep 3Z on this goal line where he can do things like that with the Pendulum Swing. And 3Z is happy. He's just there sitting in Brawler Town, enemy goalie box, chilling. He's got everything he needs to. He's got his little Super Surge can of soda. He's got the Now to heal him whenever he needs it. He's got the Atlas to back him up if he ever goes down. So he is just chilling and looking for those plays.
This whole Soondubu comp is literally let 3Z cook, let the Brawler do his thing. Grimilla and Shapeshifting providing such a strong backbone to the Soondubu Strikers roster, rather, in this game, but it's not strong enough to stop Dropletto's dash punch from getting through into that barrier. Now, Bozo Bunch have the advantage here, rather. They have an extra barrier, they have the time to play with. Getting that orb, rather, to heal up for now. Breads with that flip as well, but 3Z Breezy and Grimilla both have flip, and they're both in the goal box of Bozo Bunch. The hook comes out, but no, the strike war is going to be lost by Grimella. Death Touch not going to be doing too much here, as it looks like the Sundubu Strikers, all three with flip. They're going to be trying to do something here with it very soon, and that is going to be both flips popped and nothing gotten. The Bozo Bunch are managing to hold for now.
Unfortunate double flip there. You hate to see it, but sometimes, I mean, again, these players have been playing for a while. The nerves are building up in both teams. These mistakes will start stacking, and so we'll see these teams capitalizing on those mistakes of the opponents. But it is not easy. Even then, with the nerves, these players are still playing very well, making far fewer mistakes than a lot of us would make. Dropletto on the bottom, they're trying to go for a dash punch angle, but not having enough steam to really follow through, so it goes to empty space for a second. And we're seeing a lot of empty space here. Astral Projection gets it forward, but not quite enough to get it through. Once again, 3ZB trying to go for the pass to Grimella, but it's through Dropletto, who has the score flip in the bottom corner. Gonna use the flip to send it back, but the barrage did not connect. Unfortunately, it was a great option on the play, but just not the range, not the positioning from Gret. Great goal gate dribble from 3Z Breezy, sending it through, and Grimella as well, just sending it same spot as well, where 3Z dribbled off the goal gate there, got the barrier, and then Grimella sends it right back there 10 seconds later when it is open, and just gets that second point for the Soondubu Strikers, who really are beginning to run away with this a little. They have a set and 2 points, and I don't want to jinx them too hard, but they are playing quite well in this game. They do lose a barrier on the bottom, though. Now is there with the secondary as well. Bit of an awkward thing there, the whiffed core flip from Shapeshifting, and I do apologize for that caster curse. Immediate on that one. I say they're playing well, and then some weird interactions and a little bit of nerves crop up there. But in the end of the day, Grimella is there to heal 3Z. Giga comes out, but the goal does not get scored. Shapeshifting still on top of things. 3Z with the hook onto Gret. Tried to go for the pendulum swing, but was a little too far away to actually get the connection on there, unfortunately for him. But the goal barriers will still stand. The goal barrier singular will still stand, because there's only one left here on the entire map. There's an open goal for the Soondubu Strikers.
Open goal for Soondubu, but Shapeshifting has been holding. He's been looking pretty cozy in that open net for now, but we'll see how long that lasts. And a great death touch into the flip for 3Z Breezy to take out Dropletto, and now get a power play for the Soondubu Strikers, who opened up that goal barrier. Obscure Breads has that flip to defend, and has that flip to stall for the next few seconds, but no, the perfect death touch. I feel like I've seen this before. Obscure Breads just does not pop that flip in time, and 3Z Breezy punishes his former teammate and takes the second set. They're one set away from this entire tournament.
That they are, and what a run it's been. I mean, that is Erasmus with a few options there. Has the option to pick up that 1-2 punch, the Glass Cannon, the Super Surge, Spark of Strength. They're all good on this one. Even Monumentalist at the kind of device the now. But it's going to be the 1-2 punch, and I think it's a very good pickup there. More just aggressive core speed. You can try and strike Pendulum Swing on that just to send it straight forward, strike into secondary. He just has so many ways to proc it so well. And of course, you can never forget about the Death Touch into Strike combo too. So 3 different not necessarily very easy ways to do it, but fairly straightforward ways to proc that. And of course, I mean, Monumentalist now was the scourge of everyone that played about a year ago, so seeing that picked up still gives me nightmares, even if it's not quite as good as it used to be.
Not quite as good as it used to be, but definitely still very, very useful, especially in the midfield for Grimella here, and also the aerials for the Kai, going to be helping both midfielders getting exactly what they want this draft. It's going to come down to who can boss up, right? Who can play a bit better? And this is why I love LANs and Sad Boys a little bit. Sad Boys, there you go. See 3 of them there. Love to see it out of the players. Everyone's still in high spirits, even with all these nerves. But this is what I was saying, is this is why I love LANs. Everybody's on the same ping, so there's no excuses, right, on, oh, I'm lagging, blah, blah, blah. There's no excuses on anything. Everyone has the same crowd, same chairs, same PCs. Everyone just needs to put in the work in which team and which people, I guess, can hold out the longest, can keep their nerves, can keep their cool, and keep their consistency. And right now, both Soondubu Strikers are keeping consistent on this defense. Bozo Bunch just did nothing with that power play.
Yeah, you always hate to see that when you play that kind of comp. You need to make use of those, otherwise, you know, it's sort of like a points build, right? You spec into the points, into the KO points, but that means you lose out on the core control. So you need to get those power plays and make use of them, or you just kind of wasted your points on something you're not really using. Dropletto as well, very low on the back of this, running all the way back to get a goalie orb, and he will live, but that's so out of position. It's going to take a while for him to get back to the front. The Death Touch goes a little bit wide, though, and the core flip from Obscure Breads gets it forward. Gret has a flip as well. There are 2 flips in the goal gauge, but it's going to be the one from Grimella that gets it forward. 2 flips still available here for the Bozo Bunch, but they're not going to use them just yet. They're really trying to hold on to these. Kill flip failed from Dropletto, unfortunately, and Gret to use the core flip as well. 2 flips again down, and it's just the pressure getting to these players. They're not getting the connections they want to. 3Z Breezy finding the connection he wants to as he gets that barrier in the bottom pass back from Atlas forward. Pendulum Swing not going to miss, but not going to connect, but neither will the dash punch there. But they're just trying to get it through. The Rose Warp is great. They're keeping the point alive. They're trying their best, and they are getting the clears, but the Death Touch won't connect, and it is good for now.
Good for now, but 3Z Breezy still has that core flip. He still has that energy burst to do with what he pleases, and so does shapeshifting. So Soondubu definitely looking a little bit healthier in this point and in this game in general with the 2-set lead. But Bozo Bunch are still in it. They still have the tools to win this game. They just need to show that they can do it. Dropletto with the ultimate going to be stopping 3Z Breezy in his tracks. Now it's the Kai playing on this top side, but no, Soondubu just feels like they have everything locked down. They have everything handled, and a Giga Blast isn't even going to phase him as 3Z Breezy takes it to the bottom side. Now he's looking for an angle to do something, but no, nothing's going to happen as both sides, both goalies, are playing so incredibly well at keeping it away from their nets. It's so hard for the forwards to do anything on either side.
Yeah, you really have to have a concerted team effort of almost the entire team, including the goalie, to get through these goalies, because they are just rock solid, and with the midfielders running so much interference, setting that play up is almost impossible. But there we go, the Quangle kind of combo, comboed up with Gret there to get the kill onto now is an option for the power play, but they still have to get that last barrier down, and 3Z Breezy, we were talking about earlier, he likes to go on the aggression in these situations, by so much time that the barrier doesn't even fall. The goal almost scored, forces out the core flip, and I mean, in the power play, you don't want to be losing your core flip off the back of it. You want to be getting everything that you want, but they just weren't able to get it done. Bozo Bunch not even getting that with another Sad Boys angle there. Kind of a good clear there from shapeshifting, and just so difficult to contend with when you have so many angles to clear, so many angles to interrupt and to intercept these plays before they even begin. Piercing Shot tries to get it forward, but it's countered. The Death Touch not going to connect there, but it is going to get forced through with the barrage. The Giga as well. 3Z Breeze taking a lot of damage, but there's an Atlas. There's even a Now as well. He's back up at full HP 3 seconds later. Dropletto, on the other hand, very low HP and not really many healing options aside from this orb that gets stolen by 3Z Breezy. There is just nothing that Dropletto can do as he gets taken off the pitch by 3Z Breezy, who sends it to the top. And the first goal in what is potentially the final set of this insane 5-game series has been scored by 3Z Breezy there, with so much help from the team there. He's the one to get it in the end, but it is really such a massive effort. You cannot understate the team play that is happening here.
The team play is absolutely insane. Soondubu Strikers, all of them are putting in the work, and I want to highlight shapeshifting here for just a minute. I don't know if people know this, but he probably has maybe a third of the hours of his teammates, Threezy Breezy and Grimel. Like, he has played the game a lot, and he's a pretty newer top player, I'd say. He's definitely breaking into the scene a little bit newer compared to these kind of timeless, players in Grimel and Threezy Breezy, who's been around since beta. But he's putting on one of the best goalie performances, that I've seen in a long time. This is like barcode-esque LAN type of performance here on the Atlas, holding everything, sending everything, rotating his abilities perfectly, and is getting just enough help from Grimella too to allow him to do it. But as I say, that caster curse, Dropletto is putting an end to it, showing why experience matters and why being a top player for a long time matters. And he's gonna score right past him on the bottom side. Dropletto showing him what's up, and it's all him. It's all Bozo Bunch right now as they're looking to reverse sweep finally in this game.
Oh no, I can almost hear all of the TOs saying, no, please stop caster cursing the Soondubu Strikers, just let them win. But unfortunately, we want to see some good games, and the Bozo Bunch are delivering with another double barrier. Threezy Breezy's low on health at the end of the kill, not quite yet. He gets one barrier, but it's only one for now. The Astro Protection gets it forward. Grimella whiffs the strike. Unfortunately, the secondary from Threezy is enough, but not quite with the core flip from Obscure Breads. There we go, the Cosmic Expanse from Shapeshifting. Almost another barrier there, but Obscure Breads is just so solid on this defense. He's not letting it happen. He will not go quietly into the night here, and night is what it's about to be with how late we're staying up on this one, but again, I am all here for it. Piercing shot goes a little bit wide, dribble in the corner from core flip as well. Barrage whiffs a little bit, but in the end gets a strike through Threezy, but it goes right back to Threezy in the end. Use the mine as well. Last second core flip there, amazingly done, but the barrier just will not fall. They are keeping it alive for so long. Grimella going up with the flip as well, trying to get into this corner to pack it with Threezy and just shove it right through brute force style, saying we can't get it around, we can't do something, we have to try and do anything we can do. But even then, last second on practically the line of the barrier, it gets saved once again. Gret might be dying here for this one, but it's not going to be just yet. Finally, the barrier goes down. The Rose Whip was a little bit delayed from Breads, but can you blame him? It's been such an amazing defense up to this point. Dropletto not going to send it in. Scares the core flip right out of Shapeshifting, though. Bit of a preemptive one, but again, you can't blame these players. It is so terrifying. There we go. Finally gets cleared. It's forward with the black hole as well. It might be through here for the Soondubu Strikers, but it goes back across the field yet again.
Yet again, and Bread's putting up an insane performance right now. And Sundubu now on, a little bit of a stressful situation, but Threezy Breezy finds the core flip, and uses the barrage a little bit too late in the wrong direction. Threezy Breezy finds the angle on the top side, and we're on tournament point right now, AJ. Soondubu Strikers are looking to take the first S-tier win in history.
They are looking. Again, I said they were hungry earlier. It has only grown in hunger there. They are not yet satisfied. They take another barrier, but they trade one back. One barrier for one barrier. It's the first one, so it's not too bad just yet. But there is a core flip on Grimella available. Not going to use it just yet. Going to keep the core flip up. Not going to use it for tempo just yet. Great save there from Shapeshifting. A little bit weird with Cosmic Expanse, but got it to go sideways. It actually builds up a little bit of energy and a little bit of time as well. And that's a kill flip from Grimella. Out-brawling Dropletto on that with just that core flip ability. Dropletto getting a little too close to the edge, a little too comfy around this now. And pass up to Grimella, intercepted by the Rose Orb. Obscure Bread's buying so much time. Again, the power play is diffused. They're not able to get through. It takes so much time to set up these plays that it's almost not enough with these players that... Oh no! The backwards proximity mine! Unfortunate from Grimella, sends it into the own barrier. And that is just unfortunate to see. But the Death Touch, not enough either. Timely core flip from Obscure Breads. Threezy Breezy in the corner, just trying to live. Manages to get out, manages to survive the dash punch. Atlas Ult comes out as well. The Astro Protection gets it forward, but keeps it in the corner. Giga Blast comes out. Dropletto going to the bottom, but it's not quite enough. Threezy Breezy, and oh, never mind. It's going to be Ice sending it through with the barrage right through Grimella. Core flip from Shapeshifting, just a little bit too far away. And that is 2 points on the Bozo Bunch. It might be a reverse sweep angle if they get this next one.
Say it ain't so, but I mean, it would kind of be insane if it happened. Bozo Bunch tying it up at 2-2. The Soondubu Strikers starting to show a little bit of cracks, I think, in their armor on the defensive side. I talked up Shapeshifting earlier, and he's still playing incredibly well, but I feel like the offense from the Bozo Bunch is finally managing to actually find some success here in this Game 3. 2-2 now, the offense from the Bozo Bunch staying consistent for now, and the great dash from Dropletto going to be stopping the core flip, and now he has a flip, and he's not going to do too much with it, but the core flip now from Kai stalling, just trying to get a lot of time, and Breads has all the time and all the space in the world with both of his barriers up. Bozo Bunch are looking to end this now.
They are looking, but they're not finding just yet. Strike War won by 3Z. Pendulum Swing as well. Crystal Thorns goes wide. The secondary comes out. The black hole has exploded. One barrier falling at the bottom. Almost two at the top, but again, it's defended. Breads and Gret on this so well. Grimella winning the Strike War to get the barrier, but it's on the other side. The offense has switched sides. Gret's up at the top. Can he do something with this? The flurry comes out from Dropletto, but it's not quite enough just yet. Pass to the enemy goalie there. Unfortunately, the strike shot comes out. Corflip on Grimella. Be looking at that. The Giga Blast has also been used. So few abilities left on the field. The black hole is used as well. Dreezy Breezy low on health, but looking to try and get it up, set up with Grimella as well on this other side of the map. Pendulum Swing and the core flip used, but not secured. We have the overtime. We have the red cores coming out as well. We have the corner dribbles here from Shapeshifting. The dash punch has been dissolved. That's 20 seconds until it's back online. Pendulum Swing up to the top. Not enough. The Pearson shot, the Rose Warp. Everything is being used. The strike shot from Shapeshifting is almost enough. It is enough to clear it in the end. We have another cycle around the field. The Pearson shot counters. The Pendulum Swing goes up to Grimella again at the top. The Death Touch onto the goalie, hooks him out of position, but he's fine for now. Corflip on Gret, gonna be used right here in front of the Cosmic Expanse. Down to Dropletto, who sends it in! And we have another set over to the Bozo Bunch, and we might be having a bit of a reverse sweep angle in this final game of the night.
And I wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, to keep us in this room all night at this point, my heart is beating. I feel like I'm more nervous than the players right now. Like, this is why I love these situations, these grand finals of these S tiers. There's so many stakes. There's so much happening. And now Chrono Boost on Lakai means that I is going to have such an easier time in this game running around and keeping that core forward. Now, let's take it easy, take a breath real quick in this draft. Everyone relax. The heavy impact is being denied by Shapeshifting. Stagger Swagger now going over from Breads. So the goalie's kind of doing their fair share, getting some denials in, but two things to note here is I feel like we got a pretty even draft, slightly more for Bozo Bunch because that Kai gets the Chrono Boost, but both brawlers getting size, both brawlers feeling pretty comfortable. Which team can kind of calm down like we're trying to do right now and get their composure to finish this game, or can Bozo Bunch continue this game and get us to a 5th set?
Yeah, it is one of those things where if you are in the shoes of the Soondubu Strikers, you have come so far, you're losing 2 barriers, it might be the end, you don't want to fall into that trap, and you're not just yet. 1 barrier goes down for him, Gret's very low on HP as well. Can they do anything about it though? The Crystal Thorns gets it right around 3Z, who's trying to set this up, loses that last crucial strike where to secure the barrier, does not have enough support right there, gets the kill on a Dropletto at the beginning of the power play. 10 seconds until Julie are on the clock. But those 10 seconds are being bought really well with the barrage from Kai. Dribbles over to 3Z in the corner, gets it through with the Pendulum Swing. The secondary is out, the barrier is gone, but the power play is dissolved. The Pendulum Swing does not connect as 3Z wanted to. The Astral Protection and the Strike Shot both used. Core Flip out of Gret, not countered by Core Flip from Grimella, just a standard strike there. Good patience, good resolve, and good nerves from Grimella on that one. The Arrow, the Strike Wars, just absolutely immaculate here from this now, even so late into the game. Good denial on the proximity drone, though. Straight shot to the top, countered by a Rose Warp, though. 3Z almost with the core flip, but not quite just yet. Gret up at the top, looking very low on HP, but not enough. Shapeshifting almost able to get it through. Is able to get clear with Cosmic Expanse. Very close on tenterhooks here. Pendulum Swing gets it through, and once again, 3Z taking point 1. But ladies and gentlemen, we've been here before. We've even seen the Soondubu Strikers with those 2 goals. So hold on to your horses here. There might still be a lot more game left.
Hey, everybody hold, right? Everybody hold. This has just happened before last set. The Bozo Bunch had an incredibly strong showing in that last point as well. Everything is incredibly close, but who can keep their composure better? 3Z Breezy looks like he's taking the lead here, getting both barriers already. Obscure Breads has the flip, so he's not too worried, but they need to start getting something going now. They need to start doing some offense, some sort of move, some sort of strategy to get Shapeshifting in, you know, a little bit of discomfort, as he's just been sitting pretty in the back on this Atlas, has the flip, sitting in midfield, kind of just keeping it forward to 3Z Breezy, who wants to end this now. He wants his S tier win, and he's gonna get it. 2 goals. He needs 1 more. The Sundubu Strikers are on tournament point yet again.
Tournament point, everybody. Again, gotta hold. Gotta not be too much about it, because there's always a chance we do not want to count out the Bozo Bunch. They have been in that 2.2 set 2-game comfort zone before, and you can never count them out. but it is looking mighty close here for the Soondubu Strikers. They get one barrier, trade another on the other side, though, and that is a core flip for a barrier trade. You don't really love to see that. Dropletto almost dying to the pendulum swing. The secondary as well comes out. That whiplash from Rasmus doing a lot of damage. Shapeshifting forward as well, has the core flip available. Black Hole gets a lot of damage onto Threezy, but there's a lot of healing behind him as well. Dropletto, half HP, starting to regenerate slowly. Barriers, though, on either side not falling. They are standing alive so long, so far. I don't want to jinx it just yet. Core flip out of Gret. Counter flip failed from shifting, and that's another barrier down. And it might be the Bozo Bunch coming back again. They are trying to do a barrier, intercepted though by Grimella. Core flip from Dropletto, countered by the Astral Projection. Whiplash doing a lot of damage as well. They're trying to pass around, and they are getting it forward. But the Sundubu Strikers have not gotten the clear just yet. The Astral Projection gets it forward as well. The arrow is there as well. The teleport too, but it's not quite enough. Pass down to Dropletto, who almost gets it in. Does not get it because Grimella is there on the defense, and Threezy Breezy with the core speed is not enough either. Breads is just on top of this and just not letting it go through.
Not letting it go through, and neither is Shapeshifting with a great save on the goal line there against the Kai, who has it in their half over and over again. Soondubu Strikers are trying to find a way to break into the offense here against Obscure Breads, but he has the flip and he has the barrier. He's sitting pretty, but as I say that, the offense from Soondubu is looking a little bit scary for the Bozo Bunch. Can the Soondubu Strikers find this offense here? No, not quite there as Obscure Breads uses that flip, but no, he loses the barrier, and now Soondubu Strikers are on the tournament point. They have the offense. Can they get it done?
They're trying to. They're lining it up, but they've used so many abilities. Dropletto countered by a strike shot there. Crystal Thorns also use so many abilities being used. There's not much left in the tank. Strike shot comes out. Pendulum swing whiffs. Piercing shot too. So many things. The punch is out. The core flip from Gret down to the bottom, countered by a great ability usage there from the Soondubu Strikers. The core flip on Shapeshifting might have used. Gret goes down. This could be it. They're trying to get it lined up. The Rose Orb goes through the pendulum, so countered by a core flip, goes straight through. But Shapeshifting not going to fall for that. Dribble off the black hole. Astral Projection sends it forward. Piercing shot misses. The whiplash from Threezy Breezy trying to get it up to the top, but it's not going to go through just yet. The arrow comes out. The death comes right out of the way, and Grimella puts it in. Soondubu Strikers are your For the Crown champions in a 5-game series bracket reset. They brought it back from the brink. They had the losers bracket run, but they have done it. Congratulations to Shapeshifting. Congratulations to Threezy Breezy. Congratulations to Grimella. What a game.
And I hear the crowd chanting, Soondubu, Soondubu, Soondubu. They finally do it. They've been hunting this win for so long. They even stopped teaming with each other, and they finally come back after their personal growth. They both, Grimella and Threezy Breezy, have gotten so much better. They both evolved over the course of this last season, and now bringing in Shapeshifting, who, I mean, to be honest, a little bit of a question mark, right? The only time Shapeshifting's played was in Lob City, and they went 0-10. They did not do great, so Shapeshifting coming up, bossing up, filling in that spot that they needed in the goalie spot to finally get their S-tier win. And what an end of an era for the Soondubu Strikers. Will we see him again? Honestly, I kind of hope not. This is kind of the perfect ending to a book. I think this is literally all you can ask for the Soondubu Strikers. Congratulations, you've finally done it.
Congratulations indeed. We have an interview coming up for you with the winners. I mean, you knew it was coming, but geez, this has been a game. This has been a match. And, you know, we've been glazing on the winners, of course, but there is no shade to the losers either to get second place. Some people consider it the first person to be last, but on the other end of the equation, the Bozo Bunch, they did the high road. They were in the winners' grand final. They were the ones with the bracket set advantage. They were playing well all throughout the day. They were locked in to be the favorites here. We were coming in, you know, we're pretty sure that the Soondubu Strikers, they're going to take one game because they're pretty good. But Bozo Bunch is just so informed today. We think it's going to be a 2-1. But going into this, I was not expecting it to be a 4-1 bracket reset. And absolutely what a game it is. You see, again, Gret basically hitting high scores with the redirects every single game, the 407 redirects. But in the end, it really is just a match that has to be played all together. Gret was an absolute team player there. I don't want to say he's hogging or anything. Those 407 redirects, every single one of them was a team play. Every single one of them helped out so much. He was where he needed to be. So I'm not trying to glaze with that, but like the number of redirects in this game, is insane. The high score being on Gret is insane to see so consistently. These players, Breads on the defense, drop Leto on the KOs. There is no way to say this other than every single player in this game is one of the best players of the game, period.
And we are, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're not over yet. We're going to be getting an interview with the entire Soondubu Strikers team. No break. So we're going to be kind of doing a little shifting around here, getting some chairs in. I think, are we going to shift some chairs in here?
Here, stack it. We have stand.
The good thing is that we're professional yappers over here. We're just going to keep on yapping. We're going to keep it going. We're going to move what we need to move. Get the set up for you. Bring it over here. All right, we got this chair going this way.
We're just going to have them stand. We got the space. We just need to have them in here, and I'm seeing them start piling, shape-shifting with their forwards, Threezy, Breezy, and Gramella in the other room. We'll be getting them in here just in a second. Coming on in now. And here they are, ladies and gentlemen. Round of applause in chat for the boys. The Soondubu Strikers, the end, possibly end of an era, and ends with a bang, baby. Ends with this storybook ending. Here they are, Gramella, shape-shifting, and Threezy, Breezy, pile on in. Get in the camera, everybody. Tell us how you're feeling.
Breezy. I'm feeling like a Soondubu Striker.
Amen.
There's only
Amen.
one
Like a Sundubu Striker.
There's only one way to be feeling right now. I don't know. It doesn't feel real. To win an S tier with Josh, and then Ryan. I mean, I've known this guy IRL for the better part of like a year. Josh, this guy's my roommate. This guy's my best friend. One of my best friends. I've known him for like 4 or 5 years. To win an S tier with him is so special. So this is crazy.
Yeah. Any particular shout outs as well for anyone else?
Hey, shout out
The other guys
PPL.
speak.
They
Yeah.
prepped us hella.
Oh yes,
They
shout
prepped
out
hella.
PPL. Now they were in the mines. We gave them the same team comp like 20 games in a row. It was the most mind-numbing, just awful experience for them. But they were absolutely willing to sit down and help us prep. I have 1 billion shout outs.
Yeah.
I'm not.
I'm ready to list the whole community for all different reasons.
There's just no way that I can list everyone.
Well, I'll start with some.
Yeah, go.
Keep on going, Jeff. Keep on going.
Top 3. All right, Vaughn. That guy's like, I don't know. Feels like he's just been my mentor for a long time. Look up to him in a lot of ways. And we go back and forth on certain things. Help me become a better player, better person. And I feel like I've done the same for him. So shout out to Vaughn. Bells. That guy was my original inspiration as a OS player. I was a little lobster, and I looked at Bells, and I was like, wait, I could be like that guy. Shout out to my mom, W Mom.
Mom.
She always watches my games. So shout out to my mom. Shout out to everybody in Westcord, like literally everyone. I don't know. I love the whole community. I could shout literally Grillions be loud. Shout out to all the Westies that came out.
Yeah.
And well, I got a little thing for you guys here. Step into the camera. First place, little small pin here, little keychain. You can add on to here. We have a couple little tradition of having those the tournament ones. First place, and then I believe we also have an MVP that has been decided. Mr. Threezy Breezy, after his evolution, comes back for the Sundubu Strikers and takes away the MVP and the first place. Come here, bring it in. You earned
Thanks,
it, buddy.
brother.
You absolutely
Shout out
earned
to the
it.
casters, by the way.
shout out to
There's
the
there's not a lot of people I'd rather have cast my grandpa's past than Borg. Every time it's a Borg cast, I would listen. So this guy gets his glaze because he's the GOAT.
Well, last bit. Any other shout out, Shape? I know you haven't talked
Let
too
these
much.
guys
So
talk.
let these talk a little bit. We got to wrap up here a little bit. So definitely get your shout outs in and we'll finish out.
Yeah, first and foremost, hey, the boys know. Got to shout out Kayla, my girlfriend back at home. She's been going through it because I've been screaming 5 times a week for the past month. Second shout out, Sad Boys. They let me sub in. They kind of brought me back to the game. So yeah, they were great to play with. And then last, the Soondubu boys. Finally got one for Sundubu City.
That's facts.
Any other words, Josh?
Yeah, I gotta give a shout out to Huss.
Facts. Shout out Huss.
Him
Yeah,
and I,
Real.
I don't know if there are 2 people that are bigger fans of each other than Huss and I. We love each other, and I was so happy for him when he got his wins, and I know he's happy for me when I get my win. So shout out Huss. Like these guys said, Vaughn and all the people in the boys server. There's just so many people. Shout out all the Grablers. Those are the number 1 people. Shout out all the Grablers. But yeah, I'm going to be talking to a lot of people tonight and giving them their flowers for how influential they were on me and how important they were for me to get here, and I don't have the words for it right now, but I will later.
Yeah, well, I mean, the crowd outside had a lot of words for y'all. We heard, again, through soundproof walls and 2 doors, the sheer eruption of cheers for y'all. Very well-deserved here. Just amazing play from y'all and well-deserved. Great shout-outs as well. I love to see this community.
I got one more, too. Shout out
All
to
right.
Breads. Bozo Bunch in general, but shout out to Breads. All the Westies played so well. Cakes played well. Zay on his team with the injured players played well. All the Westies played so well, especially Breads. This
Shout
was
out
for him.
Breads.
He's one of the OG Soondubu boys, so that's the Breads. But yeah, back to you.
I love to see the humility in this community. Being able to respectfully honor your opponents is just one of the big things that we love to see. But anyway, so all right. Sorry, I'm getting taken aside by the TOs. Like I said, we're in shambles.
We gotta go.
I'm about to get taken out back with these guys. We won't be seeing each other again because the TOs are going to do something. But we do have to outro pretty quickly. So, any last closing words? You got like 10 seconds. Go.
Shout out BestieInSlot. Subscribe to their YouTube channel.
Shout out
Love
BestieInSlot.
everyone there.
Shout out EU. All my
Shout
EU
out to you.
boys.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
These are your victors, the Soondubu Strikers. One last round of applause everywhere across the world for these guys. But we have to go. We have overstayed. So thank you all very much for an amazing weekend of Omega Strikers. And thank you very much for being an amazing community. See y'all!